This is the Timbo Slice podcast featuring Jordan. Welcome to episode 5. We didn't think you'd make it this long, but you proved us wrong.
Here we are today with Tyler Faile and his friend Jake. What's your last name, Jake?
Voyles.
All right. So we've got 2 guests this time, Jordan. We went from no guests to 1 guest, then back down to no. And now we have 2, so we're moving up in the world. This is going to be great.
Yeah.
We're just making up the difference for you guys.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So why don't you guys introduce yourselves first? Tyler, why don't you go ahead?
Well, I am also an employee here at Exactware. I don't know if you mentioned Exactware before in the podcast.
I think we have, right?
Yeah, we've spoken about it
All right.
several times.
They better pay you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, they pay us, but not for this.
No.
Oh,
this. Oh, okay.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Obviously not for this.
that's got to change, though.
But yeah, I don't know what to say in an introduction.
So what do you do?
Oh, I'm a developer.
And what are your hobbies?
Oh, I just play games whenever possible, which is almost never. Because because I have lots of little kids.
All right.
All boys.
His hobbies include dreaming about playing video games.
Yes.
I know.
Buying games that are, it's more like buying, like a dream or...
Yeah, I think you
like,
said that before,
yeah.
didn't you? That
Yeah,
Steam
it's like,
figured out how to sell dreams
Yes.
for playing games. Well, it's true. I find that
Yeah.
anytime, like I got the Game Pass, and I had almost all the games already
Mm-hmm.
from sales, and I was like, this is such a waste.
Yeah. Yeah.
How big is your backlog of games that you've been fixing to play but haven't quite managed it yet?
Define fixing to play, really.
Well, that you actually want to play in your backlog.
It's really low because I'm starting to get some sort of weird sense of aversion to the whole thing because the backlog's so big. It's like 400 games normally, but then how many of those are actually worth even playing?
Yeah. So what I've always wanted, and something Jordan might have to develop for us, is like a backlog system, right?
Mm-hmm.
Something that you can link to all your accounts, like GOG, Steam, Origin, whatever, Battle.net, and it imports all the games you own, and then you get to prioritize them as if they're like Jira tickets or Trello cards or something. And then you can move them along in progress, or you can move them to like won't play, closes, won't play, stuff like that. Like, we need some kind of backlog management software, Jordan.
But you're still not going to play them, right? You're just going to move them.
We're just
on
gonna.
board.
Yes, it gets you that much closer to the dream, Jordan.
You're going to spend so much time organizing them and logging tickets for them that you could have beat like 4 of them by the time you have the
exactly.
system in place.
Yeah,
I think it's worth it.
yeah. There's a good XKCD comic about like how long you can spend optimizing a process before you've spent so much time optimizing it that you lost any gains from the optimization. Good comic, love it.
Well, there is this Android app that lets you import all your libraries and things.
Really?
And I don't know about backlog stuff in it, but you can sort it by different tags you put in. So you could add tags. You couldn't prioritize it properly.
Yeah, I don't know, because Steam lets you make tags anyway. In fact, at one point I had like over 100 games organized by tag, and then for some reason all my tags disappeared, and they were gone. So,
Well, supposedly the beta version of GOG is going to let you import
yes,
everything.
yeah, GOG Galaxy 2.0, yeah. So I signed up for that, never got in.
Yeah, me either.
That's too bad. But yeah, I wonder if they'll have some kind of backlog management system. That would be great. Anyway, Jake, you want to tell us about yourself?
Sure. Me and Tyler have been good friends for about, what has it been? 5 years?
An unknown
6
number of years.
Unknown number of years, yes.
Wait, so you didn't meet by moving to live next to each other? You coordinated that?
Didn't even coordinate it, really.
But you kind of...
we kind of did.
Yeah, you would. You didn't just be like, oh,
was-
Eagle Mountain, oh, city center. I sure want to move there.
Yeah.
I mean, if I wouldn't have lived there, would you have seriously considered that house?
Well, here's the thing. But it's a tricky question because my wife was dead set against living in Eagle Mountain.
So was mine. Spoilers. So was mine.
Wow.
Yeah. And when we went to look
move.
at houses, we had no idea where we were going. We just knew it was Eagle Mountain. And then our realtor guy ends up taking us next to his house. And I was like, this is the house? And he goes, yeah. I'm like, my best friend lives right there. And so we looked at it. We loved it. We said yes. And boom, it happened. So coordination / no coordination. It was kind of...
How did you sell your wife on the idea?
I told her it was better than living in our 2-bedroom apartment, and she came around in about 2 days.
You're basically priced out of the market in like Lehigh and everywhere around
Yeah.
here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, I showed her that like regular houses in the area we wanted were like $100,000 more.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah. It makes it hard. Yeah. So what do you do for a living?
I am working at another tech company called, gosh dang it, it's the weekend. I can't remember what it's called.
I forgot where I work.
He wipes his
Are you gonna make
memory before he leaves work on Friday.
Are you gonna make it back on Monday?
I hope so.
We talked about this in the elevator. He's going to squat here and pretend he
Yeah,
has a job.
I'm gonna try and get a job here over the weekend. I work at a company called Nice in Contact. You guys have
Okay.
probably heard of it. I don't know, maybe you haven't.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of it.
You've heard of it.
Yeah, when you told me about
Oh,
it.
that's right.
Did you say nice in
Nice in
contact?
Contact.
So is that? So I know with In Contact, is that like did they merge with some other company
Yeah,
or is
yeah.
that okay?
Yeah, so they merged with Nice. Nice is like a WFO, WFM platform.
Mm-hmm.
And so they merged with us, and we deal with a lot of like ACD, IVR, kind of like call center technologies.
Yeah.
So-
Do you know Josh Webster, QA In Contact? No. Joseph Myers.
No.
No? Okay.
Nothing.
Those are the two guys I know that worked or currently work at In Contact. So.
See, but there's also like at In Contact, there's levels, and I'm on the 2nd floor.
Okay.
Okay, and if I try to go up to the 3rd floor, they're probably not going to talk to me because it's a whole nother world up there. You get to the 4th floor, whole nother world. 5th floor, the CEO lives up there. Like you're not going to know anyone. So I kind of live on my level. You know, I haven't made it quite far enough up to
I see.
learn and.
Why don't you just
grow.
go exploring?
Sounds a lot like Norse mythology.
I do
you know?
sometimes explain.
He's stuck on Midgard and he can't get up to whatever, or down. Yeah, you're on your level of the world tree or something, right? Yeah.
There's a world tree in Norse mythology.
Yeah, right. I don't know. I'm no expert.
Isn't that the one where
Yggdrasil?
Yeah, Yggdrasil.
Yggdrasil is on top of a turtle,
I don't know if it's on top of a turtle, but
riding
yeah.
on elephants or something?
Yeah, and then there are the 9
On
worlds.
the flat Earth. Well, that's on the back. That's on top of the tree, right? Or I've got
Yeah,
this
I thought
mixed
that's
up.
what
I don't
we're
know.
on now.
Okay, so the turtle's flying in space. I think the elephants are on the turtle. The world is on the elephants, and then the tree is coming out of the center of the flat Earth. I'm pretty sure that's what you're talking about.
Okay.
So the moral of the story is that flat earthers are correct.
Yeah.
That's what
Okay.
it sounds
Yeah,
like.
As long as the
That's
turtle,
exactly what it sounds like.
as
Tyler's
long as
saying.
the turtle is fed,
Okay.
we are safe.
All
Well,
right.
who's feeding the turtle?
I don't know. I think it's like Galactus. I think it eats planets.
So are we talking about Marvel Norse mythology here, or real Norse mythology?
Aren't they the same thing?
Maybe. I don't know.
I don't know my Norse mythology.
Yeah.
Seems
me
like
neither.
Greece is all they bother with in schools. So,
It's true, huh?
but that's not very fair.
Greece/Roman. Yeah.
Why
Yeah.
not Norse mythology?
Why not?
Yeah, Marvel's got cadence over that. They're taking care of it for us.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
Now I know who Loki is, and
I didn't know before.
yeah,
Now I do.
Odin.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I knew who like Odin and Thor were, and I think even Loki, but I didn't know like Surtur, the fire giant guy, or yeah.
So speaking of Thor, are there going to be any more Thor movies?
I don't know.
That's
They
a
announced
yes.
the new one.
That's a
Is
yes.
it going to be a Thor or is it going to be a Guardians of the Galaxy?
It's going to be a
with
Thor.
There's going to be an official Thor after Guardians 3.
Oh snap!
And possibly more, because people love him so much.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
he's
but
so
they have
freaking
announced
fit.
the next Thor.
He's going to last forever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they haven't announced. They've announced it.
Yeah,
but they haven't announced
announced-
title.
Right. They have announced that the movie will exist.
And what about Loki? Any chance he'll get a spin-off film?
He's getting
Well-
a spin-off TV show, right? Like
Yeah, because the past Loki, spoilers for the second Avengers
Uh-oh.
Endgame movie.
Endgame.
Uh-oh.
Here we come.
You've
Turn
had
off
plenty
the
of time.
podcast.
You've
Turn
had-
it off now!
You've had enough time to go see the movie yourself. No complaints, no whining. Go
All
ahead,
right.
Tyler.
When they went back in the past, in one of the timelines, they screwed up and Loki got the Tesseract and escaped from that timeline. So even though he was killed in the previous movie, he exists now in some state. At least I think that's
Yeah.
what they're going to go with.
They created the
TV
whole
show.
like multiverse thing, but that to some degree it kind of makes death meaningless now that there's infinite versions of everybody. You know what I mean? It's like, oh,
Yeah.
Jordan from this timeline died, but Jordan lives on in infinite timelines. Why should we care that he died in this one?
No, you don't need to care.
Yeah.
So how about that universe where they took the crystals that Thanos is from when he comes to their universe and they wish him away, or Tony snaps his fingers and gets him away.
Well, we don't care about that.
In that universe, is Tony Stark still alive? In the one that Thanos was from?
Yeah. And another thing that's a weird kind of what I consider a plot hole is the whole explanation given by the ancient one, Grandmaster, that the bald lady, Doctor Strange is. Yeah. She said, "Oh yeah, if just one Infinity Stone was gone, like we didn't have it, we wouldn't be able to protect the Earth from."
Well, they can't, because here's why: if they're all gone, Thanos is gone now, which means that also Gamora is gone, and all those characters, Nebula, and those people that went through time.
Yeah.
Which means that Peter Quill doesn't have his adventure, which means that Ego destroys the universe in that timeline.
Nice. But even in like the primary timeline, all the Infinity Stones got destroyed by Thanos on his like retirement planet, right?
Yeah.
So they're all gone. So how is Earth going to defend itself from Dormammu, for example?
Well, I think that's what she means. They need Dormammu for that one incident.
But I mean, he's going to come back, right? Once he knows that that Doctor Strange can't pull off the same time loop on him, what's going to stop him from coming back, right? Like,
what I mean is, I think that the wizard lady, whatever she's called, she's talking about all the other movies that have to happen, because Peter's dad has to be destroyed, and he has to get the Purple Stone for that timeline to happen. They have to have the Time Stone to beat Dormammu, and they have to use these other stones in these different scenarios to even get to that point successfully. It's the problem with universe-ending plots all the time.
Now, it makes me wonder...
and dimensions. Yeah, go ahead.
No, you're good. It makes me wonder, do they have, like, a group of people, do you think, that, like, sit down with just piles of comics around them?
Yes,
and they just sit there and think about the timelines and how they're going to make the story happen.
Yeah, absolutely. Because some of the major authors that I read, the works of, like, George R.R. Martin and Brandon Sanderson, they have teams like that where they're just, like... when they write stuff, they have the team check. Does this contradict anything I've written in the past? Does this fit in with the timeline? Does this, does it work? And they have teams of people that make sure that all the people are in the right place at the right time with the right hair color and everything. So they have to. For a cinematic universe that big, they have to have a team doing like continuity and timeline and all that stuff. For sure.
You ready for an issue with Endgame?
Absolutely. Let's hear it.
All right. So
more spoilers, kids.
Yeah, here it comes.
So Steve Rogers gets back, and he's an old man, right?
Yeah.
And he's going to just retire, and I'm done being Captain America.
Yes.
Except that they've invented immortality. They could just run him through the time van and put
It's
him
true.
back to his youth.
Exactly. They could, yes. Yes, they could. Absolutely.
They have.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what they did to Ant-Man, right? They turned
That's
him into a
right.
baby. Like, they invented the Fountain of Youth, essentially, yes.
They did, and they're not going to use it.
But they could.
But he wanted a full life.
He had a full life, and
went
now
and
he
had it.
He could be young again, and he had a full life.
But then
They can let that Cap die anyway, and they can just pull another Captain America from a different dimension.
Yeah.
Like, it's too much of a mess now, Jordan. Too much of a mess. You're probably wise not getting involved in this.
So from now on, it sounds like it's not really a reboot of the character. It's just another universe in the multiverse. That's what they're doing.
It's maybe, yeah. I don't know. I mean...
Perhaps they'll open the door for that.
It's like some of the characters that are dead or whatever, they are brought back, essentially.
All you have to do is steal that character from some random timeline, screw over that timeline, since all these characters were apparently essential to defeating Thanos.
Yeah.
And then you're good. You don't care. You're not living there.
At least they weren't filming it, so we only care about the one they were filming.
That's right.
Exactly.
Well, apparently that one is the 1 in a billion chance that happened because the mouse unlocked the machine and got Ant-Man out of it. Mm-hmm. That's what the director said in some interview.
That was the one in 14 million or whatever?
Yeah.
Seriously?
Because it was because the mouse
The
pushed the lever and Ant-Man came out of the machine.
So Ant-Man plays a key role in the downfall of Thanos?
Absolutely, Jordan.
He's how the time travel gets invented. His weird van from his Mexican friend is the time machine.
Yeah, and that mouse just puts a tiny little paw on that button and boom, it all turns on.
Yeah, because he gets stuck in there at the end of the second Ant-Man movie in the what's that dimension called?
The quantum dimension.
Yeah, the quantum realm.
The thing that's dumb about that though is like that's the kind of thing where Doctor Strange could have just been like, Ant-Man's trapped in a van, bros. Someone go get him out, right? Like, Why does he have to wait for the odds where the mouse steps exactly right to free him? You know, like, because he was always saying like, oh, if I tell you what that one chance is, it won't happen. If I tell you, it won't happen. But if all I had to do was get Ant-Man out, that doesn't make any sense to me, right? It's like, it made sense when it was like, oh, if I tell you, Tony Stark, that you have to sacrifice yourself to save everybody, then you know,
might not do it.
You might not do
maybe
it.
That's it. Maybe
you'll be fine. You'll be the whole time. You'll be looking for an alternative so that you don't have to sacrifice yourself, and therefore you're gonna miss your window, and everyone's gonna die because of it. That makes more sense than like the mouse.
In an infinite number of realities, the mouse could have pushed the button an infinite number of times.
Exactly.
And so maybe there's just the one where he didn't tell Tony and the mouse pushed the button. And the directors are just like, you guys didn't notice that? Just because they're having fun with whoever asked the question.
Maybe. I don't know.
Right.
I'm not big on that answer, though. Yeah.
That's stimulating. It's a stimulating thought process, guys.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Is it time to write an Endgame fan fiction?
It might be Jordan.
You heard it here, everybody.
It's time to start
You're
right
first.
now.
We're gonna make
It's not
movies.
time to start right now.
No,
This is
I'm
a
sure people have already
Exactware funded film.
It's not a film. This is actually a podcast.
Oh,
Yes.
the fan film will be for Marvel will be
All right.
hopefully funded.
Then we'll get shut down. Copyright infringement.
Yeah.
Just like the Infringio. Do you see that?
No,
The,
what is that?
it was
like a bad guy.
somebody made a 100+ player Super Mario. It was Super Mario.
Like 64 online? Is that
No,
the
just
one?
the first
No.
Mario, but everyone was playing on one map, and whoever got to the end first wins.
Dude.
And it was really good and popular and smooth. And Nintendo threw a cease and desist, and the guy changed it to Super Infringio. And,
Nice.
Yeah. And so I forget the full name. It's like DMCA something. But
Did he get shut down?
it got shut down again. The lawyers kept contacting him, and now there's just an RIP page for the website. I didn't even get a chance to play it.
Dang.
Sucks, man.
Copyright law.
I think they shut down the Mario 64 online, too.
Did they?
Yeah, that was like... Was it 64 players or was it 100 players? But you could go into the Mario 64 world with like tons of people.
You just needed a Mario 64 ROM.
Yeah.
Well, just in case that happened, because I've seen this sort of thing happen before, I downloaded the multiplayer Mario 64
Mm-hmm.
client or server or whatever you're supposed to get from them before they got shut down.
Nice.
So I've got that somewhere.
Yeah.
I haven't tried it because I didn't have a Mario 64 ROM, and I don't just download ROMs from the internet, but I've got it.
It's in your backlog?
It's in the
It's in my backlog.
That's right, Nintendo
He's dreaming
lawyers.
about it already.
That's right. One
If it was
day.
on the internet, it exists forever.
That's right.
Can't get rid of it. So tell us that question you were posing right before we started this podcast, Tyler, about the...
Why? Because it's related? Because it's related? Infinite
Sure.
digital media,
Yes.
etc.?
Yes. Good segue into
Yeah,
that,
that's right.
that question.
You could have segued even more efficiently had you not mentioned anything.
Yeah, that's okay.
All right. So the question is, what do you think would happen to the world if we actually invented replicators like in Star Trek? What would the government do? What would society do? What would the economy do?
So my first question then would be, how hard are they to make, right? Like, if you make one, can it make another one
Oh, it sure can, because you could design a replicator
that can make itself?
that could make another one, because you could come out all complete like a cube and then fold out on these extendable whatever to be full size where there's enough space to make another one inside.
Does it have to use existing matter to replicate something?
I would say if we're going to base it on digital media, it probably just needs electricity.
So it turns energy into mass.
Mm-hmm.
So theoretically, then somebody could start making as much junk as they want to drown us all in garbage.
Right. I think that one of the rules is you can't create anything that's alive, though. I'm pretty
Okay.
sure to come out.
But
again.
is that like taboo, or is it like a limitation?
I don't know.
Was it like
I
human
think-
transmutation in Full Metal Alchemist?
I think it's a limitation because I feel like the print is lower resolution than what it would need to be to actually be alive. Like it could be like a mouse, but like the neurons and all that stuff would be messed up. They'd be too low resolution to be.
Or they just wouldn't be, the cells themselves wouldn't be alive, because who knows what makes a cell alive versus dead, right?
Yeah,
So,
maybe you could shock
okay.
it in the right way and revive it somehow, but I don't think that the replicator could do that on its own.
Okay. So you can't make something that's alive. Can you make a nuclear bomb?
Sure.
Theoretically,
Absolutely.
right? Absolutely.
Yeah, why not?
So you could have infinite machines pumping out infinite nuclear weapons. That sounds like a great recipe for humanity.
Okay. Well, here's my first thought, though. My first thought is money, gone, irrelevant.
Right.
Doesn't matter
You could replicate.
because you can
perfect
replicate money. Yeah.
Yeah. It'd have to be done some other way, like some kind of social capital or something. Like China's point system, right?
China has a point system?
Your social value system or whatever. I don't remember what they call it. But like...
Do they not have money?
No, they do have money, but I mean, they have some kind of way of rating people up and down based on how well they conform to the, I don't know, the wishes or needs of society or the government or
You
something
can
like that.
earn more privileges by being a better citizen.
Something like that,
Is this
yeah.
for real?
Sounds
Like, is
dangerous.
this totally legit?
Yeah, it's totally legit.
Holy cow. It's like a video game.
Time to move to China.
Time to go, guys.
I've been looking for a real life system to level up.
Exactly.
You know, so like maybe there'd be something like that, right? Because if nobody needs any commodities, physical commodities, then services are going to be the big thing, right? Like something that humans can do that no object can do. That's where people will be able to add value. Like,
Well, you'd have to make a new object and then barter the pattern. Like you have
Yeah,
to make
maybe
something
that,
that's
right?
unique
Yeah.
that no one else has, because no one's gonna.
that's true, because if it's like 3D printing, you know, you can't just tell it what to do without actually making the model, right? There's a specific way where you tell the machine how to make something. So yeah,
I suspect you'd have to scan it in. Like you'd have to put an object into the replicator, disintegrate it, and now you have a pattern you can use to make that again and then more.
yeah.
You couldn't just make it in a computer
But
because
then it would be hard to sell that pattern more than once, because the first person who buys it could then start selling it too.
sure.
And then anyone who buys it after that could sell it again, you know, and then eventually it would propagate around. And
If they have a replicator, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Sounds like the end of the world to me.
well,
I feel like the world would collapse just because, like, eventually it's going to get in the wrong hands. And then they're going to make more replicators. And then they're going to make more replicators out of the replicators. Before you know it, you got an unlimited army, unlimited guns, nuclear warheads. Sounds like the end of the world.
Yeah, but would anyone even really be like fighting over that sort of
could
thing?
you slowly replicate yourself a planet though, and then you can just like leave? I don't know.
I mean, I'm pretty sure if you
I'm
could
going to replicate Texas
yeah.
today.
So you have like a thing. Let's say it's the size of a minivan, and you can replicate stuff with it. Well, it's going to take you a long time to replicate a planet, and before your planet's finished, you're going to end up destroying the whole Earth from the mass.
But what you would do first is you'd start making more replicators. Then you'd use those replicators to make a platform out in space and a ship that can get you to it. Then you put more replicators on those platforms, and eventually you start just replicating mass. And then it'll just, for the gravity will then start to form a planet as you get more and more and more mass into the area, right?
Sounds like
a
a
video game.
science fiction story where suddenly a
We're
giant
doing it,
planet-sized
Jordan.
mass
We're writing the story and
crashes into the
we're
Earth.
turning it. We'll have Dan Hoffman make it into a short film, and then you can program a game for it. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So he's on
So
board.
one limitation I see with replicators, so like with atomic bombs, right? You get tons of energy out of a little bit of mass.
Yes.
So wouldn't you need tons of energy to make a little bit of mass?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
So the replicator
Absolutely.
would be super energy expensive
Yes.
to the point where you might need like some giant solar collector
Yes.
out of space
Yes.
to make
Like
a bag
Dyson
of
sphere.
marbles
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah. You need something like that.
Can you make stuff that does not exist already? Like a more advanced, like, I don't know, tool, like a robot or something.
As long as you can put the plans in, I would say, yeah.
You could, but
theoretically,
you'd
right?
have to design it first.
Is
So
there-
if it couldn't possibly exist by someone making it, then you probably couldn't make it with a replicator. But if it's just a matter of atoms being aligned a certain way, you could probably replicate it.
So is there no, like, AI going into this replicator?
I mean, you better hope not.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah. Right?
End of the world, guys, I'm telling you.
Yeah. I don't know. some people think we're really close already to the dangers of AI. And I would say replicators are far, far more advanced than where we are. So
Especially replicators that can replicate replicators.
yeah. So I think we're closer. We're probably closer to an AI takeover than we are to actually making replicators.
Well, how close are we to an AI takeover?
I don't think we're very close, but Elon Musk thinks we're really close. I don't know.
Is Elon Musk, is he like a brilliant mind, or is he just some persuasive business guy?
I think he's more the former. Like he's more of an engineer guy himself.
How about that time when he woke up in the middle of the night after watching a bunch of anime and said, "I'm going to build a Gundam"?
Yeah,
Remember that?
yeah, I do.
Where does that fit into his genius?
Did he manage to build the Gundam?
That's
No,
what I was
no.
going to ask.
But
China's trying to.
Here's the thing, though. Like, if you had the resources he had, wouldn't you consider that a good decision?
I would.
I would consider it a smart decision to make a giant war robot. If I were in his position, absolutely.
I've always wanted to pilot a Gundam.
So there you go.
Wouldn't it just turn on him though? Once
Maybe.
the AI comes
yeah,
in?
it-
Yeah.
No, you have to build your Gundam. It's
So that
simple.
you're the
It's
pilot,
simple
yeah.
mobile suit lore for any type of anime. You have to have some weird DNA thing, so only you can pilot it, and it slowly drives you insane.
So, so like a car with arms and legs,
No, I mean,
but way more advanced.
yeah, kind of, but like the size of a skyscraper,
Oh.
Yeah.
and you're stuck inside, and there's like your parents' genetics are somehow associated with this robot in some twisted
It's
way.
some kind of like DNA fingerprint
right.
on it. That,
So you are the only one, even though you're so reluctant and you don't want to get involved in the robot wars.
and you're only 13 years
That's
old.
right.
You know?
That's exactly right.
Didn't they make a couple movies recently?
I mean, that's like the plot of half of the giant robot.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why I said that.
Okay, I gotcha.
Yeah. Yeah. The most recent movies that people have probably heard of that are like this are the Pacific Rim
Pacific
ones.
Rims,
Yeah.
yeah.
Pacific Rim, yeah. So,
I feel like
Yeah.
that was like a lot of 80s anime. was
Shinji!
like-
yes.
yeah.
Shinji, just get in the robot!
Yeah, you've got Evangelion as well.
Yep.
You know, like, yeah.
Amuro with the first Gundam, but he
Yeah,
wasn't. That
even-
wasn't any weird genetic thing. He just stole that.
Yeah. Even, what's that called? Code Geass has, mechs. And then they even did a remake of the Count of Monte Cristo storyline called Gonkutsuo. And even in that, when they fight the duels with swords, they're in giant robots. So,
Of course.
yeah, it's like, it's the thing, right? You know?
Of course. That's how you do
Yes.
sword duels.
Yes. This is how Japanese people alter stories. They throw in giant robots wherever they can.
Whereas Americans are more likely to rewrite with zombies.
Maybe.
The Japanese rewrite with Gundams.
I think Americans are more likely to rewrite the story poorly.
Ouch.
I agree, actually.
I'm just salty. How about that Little Mermaid controversy?
Oh, yeah?
There's
Oh,
Little
boy.
Mermaid controversy.
There is.
There is a Little Mermaid controversy.
It's, it has to do with casting.
They're doing a
basically.
live action, I
They
saw.
are,
Live
yeah.
action,
yep.
yes.
Yes, they're doing live
And
action Little Mermaid.
who is the controversial
I don't know who it
cast?
is. I just heard that they cast a black Little Mermaid. Is that
That's
what it
right.
is?
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
And fans are salty.
Yep.
And not because it takes place in the sea.
Oh, come on. So,
Oh.
I don't know. People say that, like, the original Little Mermaid is white, but, like, I don't know. Like,
Well, one,
It's-
she's so deep in the
She's
ocean
not
that
even
barely
human.
any sunlight gets there. So she's
That's-
probably going to be fairly pale.
uh,
But irrelevant,
she
right?
probably doesn't have human skin either, though.
Right. The problem is that they're taking a character that someone already likes the appearance of and changing it in some way.
It's nostalgia.
What people
It's
want
nostalgia.
is for Ariel to look as close to the cartoon Ariel as
But
possible.
the
in a
cartoon
real
Ariel
person.
isn't even the real thing, though, because The Little Mermaid was a book written by some Dutch guy, right? If I'm not
Yeah, but
mistaken.
these people just want their childhood
They want
Disney
the
movie.
Disney
The
movie.
Disney, who cares
For
about
lots
Disney?
of
VHS
folks,
cassette.
Disney is the standard of truth.
That's right.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's, I don't know.
Well, and they're doing the same thing with Mulan. I guess they're
Yeah.
taking out all these things and going with like the original lore, the original
That's probably
legend.
going to be better then, right?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I guess.
I didn't
Yeah.
see the little dragon in the trailer. I
Yeah,
didn't-
they took out all the like fun stuff, and now it's just a girl pretending to be her
They're not going to have those 4 guys that are just the goofiest soldiers you could possibly have.
Probably
They
not.
might still be
I
in
mean,
there.
maybe.
I don't know, but
Who knows what they're gonna do now?
yeah, I don't know. It's like this whole subject is kind of weird to me because on the one hand, you'll have people who say it's great to take Ariel and change her race, but then if they made Mulan not Asian, then there would have been outrage against that. So it's like, what's the standard here? Because that seems like a double standard.
Yeah, it is. It's only good if you change it away from white person.
That's what it sounds like, right?
Yeah.
And that's silly. So, I mean...
I totally get the Will Smith Genie thing because of Robin Williams, not being around anymore.
Yeah, I don't think they could have done a good job of anybody with that CGI, though.
Robin Williams could have done it.
Maybe. Oh, man. I don't know.
You know what I learned from that? Just to go off topic a little bit. When Will Smith was talking about when he got cast for that, he said his son was the one that convinced him because he did not want to be the genie. That was ridiculous. And I also learned at that same time, he's like, yeah, it's kind of like when I went in for this interview for a casting, I didn't know what it was. He's like, there's just 2 guys in a t-shirt. This is like 30 years ago. I don't know, 20 years ago, however long. And he's like, they're like, okay, man, you're going to be doing backflips. You can be doing this. Pretend to dodge some bullets. It was for the Matrix. Will Smith could have been Keanu Reeves.
I'm glad he wasn't.
But he said no.
If
I'm glad you got Keanu.
If he had been Keanu Reeves, that means Will Smith would have been in Bill and Ted also.
Yeah. Probably would have
And
taken over
Cyberpunk
his life.
2077. That's right. I'd rather have Keanu. Yeah.
I'm
Keanu's a
glad
better
Keanu
John
did it.
Wick, too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There we go.
I went there.
Yep, he did go there. He would have took over his entire persona. He wouldn't have even existed anymore.
That's right. Keanu Reeves would have simply ceased to exist.
Yeah.
So I brought something.
What did you bring? You got to show it to us.
You'll have to describe it.
Yeah.
Because I've seen it. I want you to describe it.
Okay. So it looks like an old school camera.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
It's actually a replicator.
Nice. So what I'm looking at here is a black oblong. What would you call it?
It's a box.
Kind of like a box,
Yeah,
like a rectangular
cube.
box. Yeah.
It has some dials and
It has a lot of dials.
2 lenses on the front. Is there a lens on the side even?
No, those are knobs. It's
These are just
taller than
knobs.
it is wide.
And these are the ones that are so old that you open up the top and look down the top, right?
Yeah.
And the top of the box says Vashika 635.
That's a Y.
Yashica.
Yashika.
Yashica.
So
It almost looks like as if you went into your eye doctor's office and just cut like a chunk off of that little thing they put on your eyes.
Yeah, it does look
It's got
like
a lot
that.
of little dials and like 2 little eye things and lenses.
Yeah, like half of an optometrist's.
Yeah, it's like one of those things is stuck on the side of 2 blocks that are stacked on top of each other like a tree in Minecraft. That's kind of the shape.
Yeah, and you just look down the opening on the top and you can kind of see what you're looking at through the lenses. And I guess you would then twist these dials to focus and whatnot.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
I don't know how to use
this.
it either, but you said you could.
So yeah, with my time, I had a few years in photography, and so that everybody knows that's listening, this is basically those giant cameras that you see, like photographers that take pictures of models and stuff. Those humongous cameras that are like $5,000. This is that, but from the 50s. So back in the 50s, this thing cost like $300. So back then, that's like
$300 in the 50s is what, like $5 million today?
exactly
Something like that, Jordan. Something like that.
Something like that.
It's top of the line.
$300 in the 50s.
My father-in-law was telling me earlier today he bought a house in the 50s in Farmington, New Mexico for $16,000. He had a monthly payment of $65.
Oh my gosh, must have been nice.
So how much do houses cost there now? Probably like $300,000.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
So $16,000 to $300,000 is the conversion rate.
Yeah, isn't that?
Wow.
In fact, there was an old couple in my neighborhood back
So
when I lived
times
in
20.
Yeah, times 20.
So
So,
Sorry, go
No,
ahead.
you're good.
300 times 20 would be what? 600 times
6,000.
10? $6,000?
Yeah. There's $6,000. Wow. Sorry, what were you saying?
No, I was just gonna say there was an old couple in my neighborhood back when I lived in Linden, Utah, and they bought their home for $40,000, and it was worth about $380,000, and they swore that they would never sell it for more than what they paid for it. Somebody picked it up for $40,000.
Why would you ever do that?
They didn't want, they felt like it was a ripoff to do it any more than what they paid.
I mean, that makes sense if everything still cost the same as it did when they bought it.
I know, right?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, we don't want any more money than we paid for it, but back then a gallon of milk cost 10 cents.
They must not believe in inflation. I think that's their religion, is anti-inflationists.
See, to the point of great self-harm.
But I mean, yeah, like you have to realize how much purchasing power you've lost since then, right? I don't know. I mean,
Or is it a mark of
$40,000.
genius to refuse to yield to reality
yeah, I guess so.
I'm pretty
or
sure.
insanity?
Maybe.
They're
How
just
old were they?
old-fashioned. They're in their 80s.
Oh,
Maybe even 90s.
like, we're not even going to use this money anyway.
Yeah, they don't care.
We're just going to die.
They've been retired for 30 years.
So this is a replica of one of those
No, it's-
cameras?
no,
it's a
this
real
is the
one.
real thing.
So we visited my wife's grandparents,
Uh-huh.
and he goes, "You like cameras?" And I'm like, "Sure." And he pulls it out, and I'm like, "Oh, that's nice." And he's like, "Yeah, you can have it." And his wife's like, "You giving that to him?" And he's like, I can't take it with me."
So what's it worth?
$200.
I think you're wasted as a software developer. You should have been in voice acting.
Who knows? Perhaps.
We'll turn this into the Tyler Faile radio program.
That's right.
Or you should be the DM when we play D&D.
That's right.
Doing all the NPC voices. As long as they're old people, you can pull it off, right?
Or if they're a dwarf, I could do that too.
Right on.
Scottish dwarf.
Yeah, aren't they all?
I mean,
I think the Lord of the Rings films established that.
Yeah.
I don't know who started it, but that just confirmed it.
even
for
back
all
in
of
Baldur's
time,
Gate,
right?
the dwarves sound like Scots.
Did they?
Mhm.
Yeah.
So Baldur's at least.
Yeah, I don't know if...
Probably earlier than that.
Probably earlier, yeah. I don't know. That's
Well, I guess we could just ask the internet, right?
That's about as far back as my knowledge goes, though. Baldur's Gate, dwarves.
Yeah, I learned it from my high school buddy that we played D&D with. That's the way he did it.
Yeah?
It just seemed right. So
How long ago would that have been? That would have been 2000, right?
Yeah.
At the latest?
that would have been 2000 is when we graduated.
Yeah.
So it would have been like 99, 98.
Wasn't Baldur's Gate before that?
It was, yeah.
Okay.
It was, what, 96?
So maybe
Something
he
like
got
that.
it from Baldur's. I don't know. I know they played Eye of the Beholder. It's an old dungeon crawler. I don't know who made it when it came out.
Was that one of those gold box games?
I don't
Because
know.
back before Baldur's Gate, there were a lot of D&D games made, and they all were put in a gold
It might
package
be.
box.
I know it
you
was the second edition rules
Yeah,
that governed the game.
it might have been gold box. Yeah, I never played any of those. They predate me, kind of. I mean, they predate me getting into those kinds of games, so I never really got to play any. Maybe I'll go back someday,
Yeah.
Jordan.
I think PC gaming was in its infancy then.
But those are like super old though. Like even a game like Baldur's Gate can be hard for some people to get into today because of like the engine and
Yeah,
how
I
dated it
couldn't
is.
play it.
Anything like before that, man.
Yeah. I really liked
gotta be hardcore.
Planescape Torment, but I played the first 30 minutes of Baldur's and I just couldn't go on.
Oh man,
That was all I had in me.
It's good. They've made an enhanced edition though. It's a little bit better. And somebody even modded, which game was it? Neverwinter Nights 2? Yeah, I think somebody modded Neverwinter Nights 2 to have the whole game of Baldur's Gate inside.
Really?
They remade the game. I forgot what they call it. But yeah, Baldur's Gate, I believe, has the full game essentially ported to Neverwinter Nights 2. Because they have that whole like tool set that comes with the game so people can make their own content. So,
That's impressive.
yeah. I haven't played it yet, but it looked pretty good.
Getting back to the camera, I think Tyler has a superpower of people like to give him technology and hardware.
It's true.
Because you have a bunch of it, right? You built a gaming PC for how much? That's a good story to tell
Yeah.
on here.
Which
That's an awesome
one?
story.
That's the one you were telling me about. It was like a month or two before I left Exactware, maybe a little bit longer.
Was it?
I think an office was throwing out some computers, and you found something good from there.
Well, I found a Dell server Optiplex style machine from the DI, or at the DI, for $10.
Mm-hmm.
Has a 6-core processor, a Xeon something.
Dude.
Yeah, I replaced it with a better one that's more like a 2nd gen i5, but still with 6 cores for like $14 off of eBay.
2nd gen i5?
Yeah, it's pretty much the same
That's-
as 3rd gen.
i5 should only have 4 cores, though. But what
Well, I'm saying in performance, it's like a 2nd gen i5.
I see what you're saying. Okay, go ahead.
Even though it's a Xeon.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay.
I'm following now.
It has 6 RAM slots, triple channel.
Yeah.
It came loaded. Each one had 2, so it's got 12 gigs of RAM out of the box. I mean, no, there was no box. It had
Right.
a sticker on it.
The
that
metal
said-
box. That
12
is
gigs
encased
is
in-
triple channel, huh? That must mean it's similar to an i7 then, if it's using triple channel.
Could be, yeah.
Yeah.
So I threw a $50 GTX 770 with 2 gigs of RAM.
Dude, $50, that's all my old card is worth these days, huh?
No, it's not. It's worth more, but I
Oh.
found it from a server supply company on eBay that didn't know what they were selling. They had like 100 of them.
I'm telling you, it's a
Are they still
superpower.
selling them?
It is a
No, they ran out.
Oh, man. $50 for 770.
Yeah.
He's like the
That can
Magneto
run-
of hardware.
They can still
Yeah.
run almost anything that's out today.
and good deals.
Well,
And good deal.
it can run Monster Hunter World on low perfectly.
Yeah, as long as you have a power supply that has the right connectors.
I had to throw in a 750 watt power supply for all
Yeah.
this because it was a beastly machine anyway.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I already had the SSD, the storage drive, just the SSD and the hard drive. I already had the power supply, but all that together was like $110 or something.
$110 for...
And it plays games as well as a PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, right? You
Yeah.
can play Monster Hunter World on low, but only because the VRAM is 2 gigs. If it was
Yeah.
higher on the graphics card, I could have run it high or something. It would be fine. Because with those cores, I'm not CPU bottlenecking.
Yeah.
So,
Jeez. That's legit, man.
and that's just my secondary.
I need to replicate that deal.
Yeah. Let me get you a replicator.
Yeah, exactly. There you go.
Just stick with Tyler. The
Seriously.
hardware comes to him. There's
It
a
does.
$200 camera sitting on the table here that some old guy gave to Tyler for free.
That's true.
Oh man.
Yeah.
So, what was your connection to this guy again? What was the relationship?
He's my wife's grandpa.
Okay, wife's grandpa.
Hey, what phone do you have, Jordan?
What phone?
Oh,
I have
no.
a phone that Tyler bought for $10 at Smith's. It probably was supposed to cost more than
It was
that.
supposed to be 45, but there was a sign that said $10 for the next 3 of these, and there was 3 of them sitting there. So I take it up to the desk and I'm like, "Is this really $10?" And it rings up full price. He's like, "Oh, I don't know." I pointed the little display. He's like, "Oh, I guess it is." So he gives it to me for $10. I try it out for fun. I used it for the next day or two, and I was like, "This is pretty respectable. Not great, not horrible. It's Android 7, I think. I think it's got a 720p screen, 2 gigs of RAM, 720p screen.
You can't even buy the battery for one of those things for $10.
Yeah, how do you like it? How does it behave?
It works great.
Is it the best phone you've ever had?
It's the best phone that I've ever had.
Oh!
What did we replace that with again?
I had an old Windows phone.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, an old Windows
No,
phone.
it's all right. So I'm one of those people that doesn't love smartphones. I use it as an alarm clock. I take notes on it. I text and call people. I watch YouTube videos. And sometimes I do simple internet searches on it.
You're not constantly posting selfies on Instagram, Jordan?
I probably should. I should be doing that, but no, I've not gotten into that
You're
yet.
not in the Yelp elite? No? Okay.
We'll use this fancy old camera to make
No.
your selfies, and then we'll upload them.
I heard this week on the Soft Skills podcast that if you don't know what TikTok is, that makes you an old person. And I've seen the TikTok app in the Google Play Store. I thought, I don't know what that is. I don't care.
I guess that makes me an old person because I thought you were talking about Intel's processor cycles.
Oh man, we're all old in this room. Oh well, it's for the best.
Do you know what it is now?
No.
Yeah.
I just know you're old if you don't know what it is. I think it's a social media app.
It is. It's something like...
It's short videos.
Yeah, short videos. It's
It's
kind of
like-
like what Vine was.
Yeah, Vine. If you know what Vine is, it's the remake of it.
Oh, okay.
Did Vine
Yeah, I
go
did
away?
know that. I just
Vine
forgot.
got shut
Vine
down.
died, yeah.
Yeah, which is crazy because it was ridiculously popular.
So does TikTok limit you to 7 seconds or something like Vine did? Or?
Yeah, it's like short videos.
Okay.
But now there's like this thing with TikTok where like you can combine your screen with another person's previous video.
Mm-hmm.
So people do weird things like when they're dancing and they're flinging around, and then the person on the other screen like hits them in the face or something, and they pretend like the screen was connected.
Mm-hmm.
It's a waste of your life. It really is.
So, bottom line, don't do it.
Don't do it.
Those young kids had better stop doing that thing.
Exactly. Their
Sorry,
IQ
grandpa voice again.
will lower instantly.
Yeah.
Okay, can I just say though, Tyler taught me all I know about building budget PCs, budget gaming PCs.
What did you build recently? That was not budget.
That was not budget.
Well, I mean, I'm sure it had a budget, right?
It had a budget, but it was not.
It was not a
That's
small
part
budget.
of being trained and skilled, right? Is choosing not to use all of that.
Exactly. I built a new AMD PC.
Zen 2?
No, not the Zen 2.
Zen 1.
The Ryzen 5 2600
Okay.
is the processor.
Right on.
Still rocking an older graphics card, GTX 970,
Respectable.
but it works great.
yeah.
And it can overclock, and it's awesome.
The VRAM is your bottleneck.
It really
Only
is.
have 4.
Yeah.
So are you putting it to good use?
Yes.
All right, let's hear about it. What are you playing?
So, lately I've
Better
just
not be
been-
Fortnite. But
No.
That's
no.
what he was thinking.
Yeah.
We all know he
No,
was thinking. Don't say Fortnite. Don't say
I'm one,
Fortnite.
I'm one
Whatever you
level
do,
above
don't say
that.
Fortnite.
I'm Apex Legends.
Oh, okay.
Is my,
People still play that.
oh, tons of people.
Really?
play it.
I heard it like didn't it like had a what's the word I'm even looking for? It just like had a huge launch. Like it
Exploded.
looked, it looked like it was gonna take the battle royale scene by storm. But then like I stopped hearing
Kinda
about
did.
it after like a week. though.
It kind of did. Well, it kind of became like it stole most of Fortnite's players.
Yeah.
And then, but here's the crazy thing. The same company also launched, if you've heard of it, Anthem.
Yes.
But they did it at the same time. So they shot themselves in the foot.
But nobody bought Anthem anyway, right?
No, now they're going to give it away for free.
Oh, they are?
They are. They're gonna give it
But
away
didn't
for
you buy it?
free. I did.
Oh.
It sounded awesome, and that was before I knew it would be free. But
BioWare used to be cool.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, BioWare.
yeah.
Back in Knights of the Old Republic days, you were great. Now, Mass Effect Andromeda, Anthem, no. Sorry.
But we'd still take you as a sponsor.
Yes. Yes,
This video is sponsored by no one.
that's right. So,
But let's face it, I really just let it sit in my room and flash lights.
okay.
Because you don't have time to play it, right?
'Cause I don't have time to
You're
play
just
it,
buying the
no.
hopes and dreams like all of us.
Yes.
Well, I do those like the Humble Bundle things sometimes.
Yes.
I'm like, oh, awesome! I got a $60 game for $12.
Yes, I used to do that, and
Never
now,
did.
yeah.
Yeah. I have so many. I don't play anything.
But you did get Monster Hunter World, right?
I did.
Yeah.
It's a good game. It is a good game.
But you haven't played very much.
Nope. Again.
What weapon are you using?
Love that.
Right
It's
now,
a
I'm
weapon.
using
Don't play it.
That's right.
the bow. The
All
long
right,
bow.
all right.
It's fun. I like it. I think I need to switch it up though because I've been using it almost the whole time.
Mhm.
So we'll see. I see if I can break away from work.
Tyler's a great sword guy, Jordan.
Yeah.
He is.
Not a great sword guy.
He's a great sword guy.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's a
there we
weapon
go.
in Monster Hunter called Great Sword.
Only great sword all the time.
Yeah, pretty much. Imagine the sword that Cloud Strife has.
Yeah.
Buster
I got
sword.
brothers that play Monster Hunter.
Okay.
It's more like you could throw it on the ground and then you got to like work to pick it up
That's
and
right.
slash again.
That's
right?
the one.
It kind of knocks you down when you swing it.
Right. Yep.
It's like an extension of your whole body.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It's like the height and weight of an actual person in your
Yeah.
hands
Yep.
on a stick.
That's
And
right.
you just swing it around. And it's pretty cool.
No.
There are actually windows where you can cancel the animation to not have as much end lag on things.
Oh,
So if you're good at it, you're not just stumbling all over the place.
okay.
But it basically means you're always just sheathing it all the time just to move around because you walk slowly when it's out.
Too
Yeah.
slow for me.
I use the insect glaive, Jordan. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Tim got it.
Monster Hunter World.
Yeah, you're next.
Yeah.
Y'all been playing together?
Tim and
A
I
little
played.
bit, yeah. You should join in, Jordan. We miss you.
My brother's been trying to. Well, he tried to rope me into playing
Dude,
Tekken.
so you could play with your friends and family? This sounds like
It's just should do
an
it.
incredible opportunity, Jordan. This is I don't know. I mean, it's like if you could go to an event where getting social time with family and friends. It's two birds with one stone.
Might be the first step towards world peace.
Yeah,
I don't know about that.
That's why I just joined the Monster Hunter scene.
that's right.
Me and the Supreme Dictator. We could rope him in.
Kim Jong-un, what are you
Yeah.
talking about?
Yeah.
He's going to join in Monster Hunter?
That would be the beginning, right? Of our reconciliation.
We could talk about replicators with him.
Until Capcom does something with the game that he dislikes, and suddenly he's at war with Japan.
You know,
Yeah, you're right.
they're already on shaky ground.
That's
yeah.
right.
We better not play
They're
with that
they're
guy.
one bad balance patch away from. That's
That's right.
Yeah, they nerf the weapon he likes. And then it's all over. World War III. Yeah. Maybe you should join us though, Jordan. I know you're not a big gamer these days, but
We could build you a PC from the DI.
for like
Why not?
$20
If
or
we're
how
like,
much was
yeah.
it? $100? Yeah, there you go.
We could do it.
Yeah.
And it could run Monster Hunter poorly at 30 frames a second at sub 720p, but it could have run it.
It's not about the quality, it's about
The
the
experience.
experience.
That's
Yeah.
right. Do you need glasses at all? Do you have contacts?
No.
Do you have nothing you could take out to make the screen look usable? When...
I guess I just have to sit far away.
Yeah.
There you go.
We'll use Steam streaming to stream it to your smartphone, so it's a tiny little screen. That's the solution.
Yeah.
But really, we could probably make one that's respectable, honestly.
Did you need to tell me how to get, like, even without a video card, just a machine that has decent processing power? Because my Plex server is always struggling to transcode stuff.
What are its specs?
It's a Core 2 quad. I think it's 2nd gen Core 2 quad.
Yeah, that's what I started with.
Yeah, that's
So
what we got,
it's-
because
Super old.
he got into PC gaming because he wanted to play Destiny 2.
Destiny 2.
And he was like, I really want to play Destiny 2. And I looked at this minimum requirements, and I'm like, we could make you a machine that could play that. So we got $10 for your tower, right?
$10 for the... Well, you got the tower for free from someone.
Superpower.
Yeah.
Mm.
And then you gave it to me. By the way, it's been like a year, like 2 years
Oh,
now
right.
that I've been into it, and it was all because of Tyler, and it started with this machine.
Yeah, so that was, Carl.
Mm-hmm.
That was his uncle's old, broken, totally awesome computer. That's where that tower came from.
Mm.
It's like a PC laptop's like 30-pound case.
Right. It was nice, though. It had
It was
good
nice,
airflow. The power supply on the bottom, a big old fan on the top.
Nice.
But the motherboard was hosed. We discovered that. And I swapped it out with the motherboard from an HP that I got at the DI for $10.
Yep. Again,
Superpower.
the DI.
So it had the
I
Core
need
2
to start
quad,
going there.
9400.
Maybe I should go after we're
Just
done here.
Get your hardware from Tyler.
8 gigs of RAM, which I got doing odd jobs for this company, Costume Craze, as they went out of business. I helped them move their servers to a new building, and then they let me keep tons of sticks of RAM. That's where I got the RAM from. Just for that. They paid me for it, too, which is nice. I'm like, can I just have some of this stuff? Sure. But they're done now. Anyway.
Then he goes, he texts me one night. He's like, you still need a video card. And I'm like, yeah. He's like, I found this ad on KSL for a GTX 650 Ti for $15.
15
15.
bucks.
1.5.
1.5.
Whoa.
It's in
15
Ogden.
bucks.
In Ogden. Some
That's
old guys.
practically free.
Yeah. Some
Yeah.
old guy selling a GTX 650 Ti for $15. Jake heads up and gets it.
I drive up there.
It's legit.
Legit, got it. Was my video card for like a year.
This
Jeez.
most expensive purchase with that machine for like the whole year
For like the whole year.
was your SSD.
Yeah,
Buying SSD.
I went and spent like $49 on like a 250 gig SSD. But like even until then, I just played on like a hard drive. It was awesome.
So the moral of the story here is that the dream is within your grasp, Jordan.
Well, it's in Tyler's grasp. I'm not a hardware
somehow,
magnet.
somehow, though, I feel that the lack of hardware isn't what's keeping Jordan away from video games.
No, it's not.
It's not. Yeah.
He just refuses to dream.
That's right.
He doesn't want to be a Toys R Us kid anymore. He grew up.
That's right. You say he refuses to dream? Let's get him a Dreamcast.
Yeah.
Time for some Sonic Adventure.
Pass.
Oh man.
So I don't think you heard, Tyler, but on Monday, I had to go to the ER for a kidney stone.
Oh, yeah?
God.
Is that why you were out of the office for so long?
Yeah, for the first half of the day.
How did that go?
Sorry.
It was painful.
Did you get it out?
Yes, I did.
Did
Passed
the doctor
it naturally.
Did the doctor just punch you in the kidney until it was disintegrated, and then you urinated it out normally with all the blood?
Nope. No.
That didn't happen.
Dang. That sucks.
Yeah.
That's for the best that didn't happen, though.
Yeah.
Okay, so I had a similar thing. I had gallbladder taken out,
Dude.
but it was gallstone, so it does a similar thing where it goes down a tube. And I heard this from the doctor say, this pain, including kidney stones, can be more painful than childbirth.
Yeah.
So I guess we do actually have some experience with that pain, guys.
Yeah. Good thing we don't birth rock monsters.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was really bad. Really bad. Looking back though, like I almost wish I just suffered through it instead of paying those ER fees, Jordan.
Yeah, I mean, did you just pay for them to watch you suffer?
They gave me
Did they
drugs.
give you? Okay.
They gave me drugs.
Did they help very much?
They did help a lot, but I only needed them probably for like by the time I got there and got hooked up, I probably only needed them for like another 30 minutes after that.
Really?
So I suffered like 75% of it without anything. And so at that point it's like, man, I kind of wish I just writhed on the floor in my apartment for another half an
Found
hour.
a piece of leather to bite down.
Yeah, the thing is that's hindsight, right? You never, like, I could have been on the floor thinking like this is like a 9.5 or 10 out of 10 on the pain scale, and I don't know when it's going to end. It could last for 3 hours, and I wouldn't have made it.
Oh
Right?
yeah, that's the real terror.
That, and then what if it gets stuck?
Did you know it was a kidney stone?
I was pretty sure. I did the urgent care, like the mobile urgent care thing that Select Health does. For Connect Care, that's what it's called.
Like on your phone or whatever.
Yeah, and they're
You
like,
could sponsor us, Connect Care.
yeah, exactly.
Like they're listening.
Give me give me some free
course they are.
health care. Anyway, so yeah, I call in and they say, oh, because it's on the right side, it could be appendicitis. So you have to go to the ER. And as soon as I get to the ER, they're like, you have a kidney stone, without even saying anything, like without even really looking at anything. And my dad's like, you know that already. He's like, yeah, I mean, because when you came in, you said it went from 0 to like 6 on the pain scale instantly. He said appendicitis doesn't do that. Only kidney stone does. He's like, just based on that, I already know. Like, dang it, I told that nurse on Connect Care the same thing, you know, like she didn't know though.
Low-level nurse.
But even so though, like it's probably better that I went in because yeah, there could have been complications. It could have gotten stuck, and it could have lasted for 4 hours instead of 2, right? Like, and man, by the time I got there, like it was bad because it started out probably around a 6. I was just like, oh, what's that? Oh, that hurts. What's going on? And then it got to the point where I was just like struggling to be able to like breathe or even type on my phone. Like I had to fill out all the stupid forms on Connect Care to get connected. It's like any history of, you know, like asthma or cancer in your family or anything. I'm like, come on. And then it's like having me put in my insurance info and everything. I'm just like, why? So I finally get in there and I'm just like, by that point, I'm just like breathing heavy.
Are you like sweating like crazy?
Yeah, exactly. Like barely able to hold a conversation. Then finally, like I get, like, you know, they're like, you have to go to the ER. So I call my parents. My dad comes and picks me up, and we're driving, and it's just getting worse and worse and worse. It was probably around like an 8.5 or 9 by the time my dad dropped me off at the ER, and he went to go park, and I'm like stumbling in, and I stumble in up to like the window, you know, with the receptionist there. And she's like, okay, here's some forms for you to fill out. I'm like, do I have to do this now? She's like, yep, you got to do this now. I'm like, what if I was unconscious? What if I was bleeding out? I have to fill out this freaking form? Come on, I'm dying here.
And his appendix burst while he was filling out forms.
And so I'm sitting there like trying to fill it out as best as I can. Like I can barely even see. Like I can't even focus. Like it hurts so much. So they're like, okay, now just go sit in the waiting area and someone will be out to get you. I'm like, what? There's like nobody there. Like nobody. There's one other person who looked perfectly fine sitting in a chair there. Sitting in a chair. Nobody else. Just one person sitting. And when they wheeled me in a wheelchair, because they got a wheelchair, because while I was sitting there waiting, it got the worst it was. Like it got up to like 10 out of 10. I was just like, oh man. I was like whimpering. It was so bad. Like I I couldn't even open my eyes. It hurt so much. Like,
I bet they were back there like, I bet he's faking.
yeah.
This isn't real for sure.
I'm just like,
let's just make him wait out
I'm
there.
just
for
like
30
writhing in a
minutes.
chair, whimpering, tears rolling down my face, and the other lady, she's like, "Wow, that looks really bad." What are you here for? Like, someone to take your freaking blood pressure? Like, what the heck? And so I'm like dying in this chair, and then they finally get a wheelchair, and then they wheel me in. They wheel me in past like 20 empty rooms. I'm like, come on! And then they finally get me into like onto the bed, and I'm laying there, and they start doing like blood pressure and stuff, and it probably took them like another 10 to 15 minutes to bring like somebody in to get the drug started. And I'm just like laying there like ready to scream, like come on! Oh man, it was bad, really bad.
Sounds pretty rough. But it gave me an idea for a commercial we should film. You know that Nintendo Switch commercial where he gets up and goes and takes his dog out, and everywhere someone goes, they're playing their Switch?
Yes.
So you're in excruciating pain. Like, it starts to hurt, and you're like, oh man, this really hurts. And you start to get worse and worse, and you're playing your Switch. You grab the system. You're trying to play while you're like sweat pouring down your face. Like, your eyes, tears and drool.
Yeah.
And you're like, gotta play more Zelda. And it's playing that really catchy, jingly Switch commercial music the whole time.
I could have played in the ER, man. I could have.
Doctor walks in, he's got one, and
Yeah, the
he's
doctor's
like, "Hey, sorry, it took so long. I was trying to beat this level."
The doctor's getting frustrated at you because you're so bad at Smash Brothers, but you're like barely able to hold the system.
Yeah. It was rough, man. It was rough.
So did you have like most of them are like insurances are like a $250 like ER
Yeah.
visit,
So it was.
or is yours different? Did you have to pay more?
So I had to pay the deductible, which was $500, and then it was $200 on top of that. So it was $700 for the visit.
Ugh.
$700.
Well, you're closer to your max out of pocket.
Yeah, I guess. But I'm not going to use it for anything else, man.
Exactly.
Come
Well,
on.
at that point, you're healthy and you don't need it.
You have a deviated septum? Hit your max out of pocket and go for it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Get nose surgery. That's what Rob Code did. You know that guy in training?
Yes, I know who he is, yeah.
Yeah, he did that. They hit their max out of pocket with their daughter, and then he went and got his nose fixed.
Fixed how? Like,
Just they
Deviated septum.
like
hollowed it out.
Really?
Yeah, carved it out, and he came back to the neighborhood with like these gauze bandages in his nose and just all sorts of stuff. And eventually,
Yeah, I did that.
yeah, did you?
Yeah, I
How
got that
how
done.
was it?
It was
For
horrible.
like sleep apnea or something? Like what's
Okay,
it for?
you
So
say
it
it was
was-
horrible, but how is it now? Is it better than it was before?
It's much better. I can breathe
All right.
now.
Okay. Good. All right. So
Yes.
tell us the story.
So it was like really bad tonsillitis. So there were like golf balls in the back of my throat.
Wow.
And then also they found out that the back of my nose, these weird flap things are back there, I guess. And they make it so you can't breathe. Because I wasn't able to breathe for like a long time. It was like really hard. It was like wheezing. So they went in, took out the tonsils, took out other stuff. They cut my uvula off. I don't know why they did that. Then it's funny. I'm like in the bathroom. My wife's like, "Let me see your throat." And I open my mouth. She's like, "You don't even have a uvula anymore." And I'm like, "What?"
They sold it. Candy Mountain.
Yeah.
They take your kidneys too? Jeez.
I know. Seriously.
Charlie,
Exactly.
Charlie. That's an old
Let's
meme.
go to Candy Mountain.
That's a
Yep,
really old meme.
Yep.
They
Oh.
took it and they sold it to the Chinese on the Oregon black market.
Yep. Just that tiny little uvula right there.
Who would buy that?
I don't know. Don't ask me. I'm not in the
They're
market.
using it to clone you.
That's right.
They're going to have a slave army of you
Oh,
based off the
man.
DNA from those cells they took.
I mean, they took his tonsils. They didn't need that too.
I guess that's true. I don't know. Yeah.
Anyways, it was bad. So they cut the flaps in the back of my nose, and it was like a 3 weeks until I could even eat food.
They cauterized
Jeez.
the wound, right?
Yeah, so they can't suture anything, so they literally just take a hot poker and just throw it up in there. I just like a red hot fork, and they just.
I came over to your house, and you're like, "You want to see?" He opens his mouth up, and there's just these two horrible white sores on both.
Yeah, like it all goes white because it's just
Burned.
Burned
chicken
flesh.
flesh. Yeah, just,
Yeah.
Ugh.
It was horrible. It was the worst thing in my life.
But now your nose is better.
Yeah, I can breathe now. I don't snore as much.
Good. Good.
But it was the worst pain I've ever had in my life.
Not as good.
Yeah, I'd not do it again. That's for sure.
I mean, you can't. You're missing the parts.
Yeah, exactly. They're somewhere on the black market.
That's right.
Some rich Chinese guy is snoring now.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
Hope he doesn't get double tonsillitis since he's doubled
sure
up.
hope not. Oh man, gosh, yeah.
One thing that had me a little bit alarmed while I was in the ER was they put that thing on your finger that tests your pulse and your blood oxygen level, right?
Mm-hmm.
While I was just there, like trying to relax, once they got the drugs, and like before that, I was practically hyperventilating because I was just like from the pain, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But once, like my breathing slowed once I was on the drugs, and so I'm just laying there. And every time I came close to kind of like falling asleep, the alarm would go off for the blood oxygen. And I'd look up and it's at like 74%. I'm like, what? And so I start breathing normally again. And it goes back up to like 90.
Oh, yeah.
Then my eyes start to close. I start to drift off again. And the alarm goes off again. And I look up and it's like down again. I'm like, what?
So you think
What's
it was
wrong with me?
Like sedating you at a fundamental level?
I don't know if it was that or if that's just how I sleep. Like, is there something like, do I just not breathe enough when I'm asleep? Like, do I have some kind of sleep apnea or some kind of disorder? Because like eventually the doctor came in because it kept going off over and over again. And I'm like, what's up with this machine? Is it like defective? Is the thing not on my finger all the way? He's like, oh no, just start taking some deep breaths. And I did, and then it went back up. I'm like, what the heck is going on? Like, why is my blood oxygen dropping to alarming levels, like 70%, while I'm like, when my breathing slows as I start to like, drift into sleep?
Well, did they give you morphine?
No, I can't remember what it was that they gave me. I can't remember what it was called, but
Well, how fast can you fall asleep normally?
if into the right conditions, within a few minutes, probably.
That's what I can do too.
That's so fast.
Yeah, I can do it within 30 seconds.
I can't do that. That's insane.
It's because I've got a technique.
It's like a hard shutdown.
What?
Yeah, well, I have a technique. Where I learned it one day when I was trying to wake up and couldn't really, and then kind of was alert to what my body was doing while I was sleeping. So you just lay there and you kind of take super shallow sleeping breaths.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it limits your blood oxygen. I think because you can fall asleep in a few minutes, you've figured out how to do that when you start to fall asleep.
Maybe.
I
don't know.
That's my theory. I'm not a doctor.
Well, the same thing happened to me when I, had my gallbladder problems. Like I went in there and then they put that on my finger, and then I'm like breathing. I'm like barely getting to sleep, and it's just like beep 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 beep. And they rush in like, "Are you dying yet? Can we take your parts from you? No, we can't have them yet."
Which hospital did you go to?
It's just one of the cheaper ones. Walmart version, great value.
The Walmart
Not
hospital.
sponsored.
Dr. Nick.
So yeah, I don't know. Maybe it was like the drugs. Got you really
Could have
relaxed,
been because I was on narcotics.
Yeah.
Yeah. The good stuff. They gave me the good stuff, fortunately.
Mm.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean, it just kind of made me worry a little bit that like maybe I don't know, because I wore an oximeter once for a sleep. They call
Like
it
a
a sleep
sleep study?
Yeah.
Yeah, like a
But it
sleep
was just wearing that thing though, like overnight, and I gave it back to them, and they're like, "Yeah, we don't see anything wrong."
It's probably just the drugs.
But it wasn't one of the ones where you like they do a more like comprehensive version where you actually sleep in their office connected to a bunch of machines, and I didn't do that. It was just take this home, attach it to your hand, and then make sure it doesn't come off while you're asleep, and then they have like a whole night's worth of data on your blood oxygen level. They said there wasn't a problem, so maybe it was just the drugs, or things could have changed. I've probably gained weight since then. So
You
I don't
guys
know.
done any other weird studies like that?
No. I don't think I have.
I did one of those wisdom teeth studies in my early 20s.
what's that?
They
what
they
is
take out your wisdom teeth, or a couple of them in my case, and then after the procedure's over, they give you either 2,000 milligrams of Tylenol or a placebo. And then they come in at some point later, or when you describe the pain as being the worst you've ever felt in your life, and then you fill out a survey about it. But then they pay you $200 when you leave the next day.
Dude, $200.
Yeah.
I'd have done it.
You get your wisdom teeth out for free, and then you get paid for it.
Wait, what? You got them taken
it was
out
part
for
of
free?
a study, yes.
Dude,
Dude, that's freaking sweet, actually.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I'd do it again.
Can you take out a couple regular teeth just,
Just for $200?
Yeah, I had one wisdom tooth left after a while, or for a while because of that. Well, I guess I had the other side, both of them, but then one of them shattered.
Dude, how?
It just got decayed and just shattered. And I went
Ugh.
the whole 8 months before I went to the dentist about it.
Dude,
And he pulls it
jeez,
out.
dude.
Well, it's because I didn't have a job when it first happened. This was some years ago.
He just super glued all the pieces back together.
That's right.
He just-
No. Well, let's get this tooth put back in. Oh, don't swallow that super glue. What are you doing? Let me get the suction. Oh, it's jammed. Oh, dang. Anyway, no, that's not what happened. So what happened was I was just chewing something and it blows up everywhere. I've got shards of teeth all over. I'm spitting out shards.
What the? That's like this is like a
Like a
nightmare.
little mini bomb
It
inside
was
of that tooth.
excruciating, exquisite pain.
This is
Wait, exquisite?
Yeah.
Isn't that a positive word?
Oh,
not always. No.
Oh, okay.
it was a unique, very unique type of, not throbbing, but very intense pain.
That sounds
So, but I'm
like
like
a nightmare.
Yeah, at the time I was
I'm
out
gonna
of,
have nightmares about this
I
now.
was out of a job, and so I just let it be and tried not to chew it that side.
How
for a
do
while.
you let it be?
You tilt
When a
your head to
tooth-
the side and just chew.
When a
and just
tooth
let the
in
weight
your
of
mouth
it-
explodes into shards,
I was-
how do you let that be?
I was so poor that I had no choice.
Wow.
All right. Anyway, I was in quite a bit of debt with no job. That's how you get there. So anyway, at that point, when I finally got it taken out, so at that point, I keep saying at that point because I'm about to say something and then change what I'm going to say. Anyway, the doctor takes it out and shows it to me, and it's like this half of a tooth, right? And he says, "Good thing it was on the top, so it could drain, or it would have gotten infected."
Yeah, so I was thinking.
that's,
like,
that's what he said.
I was saying, like, there's one of those YouTube videos, Chubby Emu, where he talks
Right.
about, like, a guy, it's like, a dude didn't brush his teeth for 60 days. This is what happened to him, and he, like, got an infection, and...
Well, I still brushed my teeth, so I cleaned it out.
But, like, it's an open wound,
Yeah,
basically.
I could feel the root with my tongue
Oh my
from the
Oh
shattered
my
tooth.
gosh.
It hurt.
That is... Oh.
Oh man, could you even? I feel like just swallowing.
No, well, so I ended up wearing down the teeth on the other side because I was so careful at not getting that tooth touched.
Holy cow.
Yeah, they're back to normal now. Now that I've seen a dentist, and half of them are fake with that tooth-colored whatever, which, you know, just from normal cavities. It wasn't all from this horrible incident.
Oh my god.
I brushed my teeth. They're clean enough.
But yeah, that guy, he, like, it wasn't the lack of brushing, really. It was just that he had an abscess because he got infected, and then it broke and got into his bloodstream, and then he got septicemia. Like, that's serious business, Jordan.
Do you? Do they always die in his videos? I think?
No, they don't always die.
Do they always die in real life, but then they recover at the end of his videos?
I think he tells what really happened, but I don't know.
I think he did the one about the woman that drank too much water for the weed, didn't he? Or did he not do that one?
I don't know. I don't think I've seen that one.
That must have just been something I heard in the news some years ago. Do you remember that happening?
Mm-mm.
So when the Wii was new and it was completely unavailable, some random East Coast radio show had a contest to see who could drink the most water before they had to go to the bathroom. And some woman won
And then died?
and then died because she wasn't able to urinate because it displaced, like, the sodium level was so out of whack that it just, like, the next day she just died from it.
Wow.
That's so sad.
Yeah, so her kids had a Wii and no mom.
That's like the worst thing I've ever heard.
Oh, I know. I'm sorry, I just made this podcast super dark.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it is the darkest timeline, right, that we're in? Isn't it true, Jordan?
If you say so.
Maybe. I don't know. I haven't visited the other ones, so I have no way to compare.
Yeah, we don't have that van from the Avengers.
There's a van.
Yeah, the time machine is a van.
Oh,
Comes
Yeah.
with a complimentary mouse.
cool. It's kind of Bill and Ted-esque.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
Speaking of trials, I have quite a few friends that have, like, that don't have a job,
Mm-hmm.
and they'll, like, I guess there's, like, these medical trials that, like, they'll, like, one he did, they'll, like, inject your arm with, like, poison and, like, put you through a bunch of pain and then have you take pain meds and, like, see if it works. And you're there for, like, 3 weeks. But, yeah, like, stuff like that, where they're testing things, you know, just different medications on you, and you're, like, their guinea pig. You literally can't leave their facility. You know, you sit in there and you have a laptop, but that's, like, pretty much all you do. It's just having to
It
test you every day.
sounds like that's the logical conclusion of the things that I went and did with the wisdom teeth, because they're like, how much pain can we put you in? Did it work?
Yeah.
And now they're like, yeah, forget the wisdom teeth facade. Let's just inject them with poison.
Exactly. But hey,
It's cheaper and faster.
That's right.
Instant results.
Yep.
$5,000 is what he got.
Really?
For 3 weeks.
3 weeks.
Some of them depend. Some of them will give you like $3,000 for like a couple weeks. I looked into it. I thought I could maybe take a break from my job, go work for 3 weeks, get $3,000, but that's too fat.
But what else do they do to you when you're locked in their facility for 3 weeks with no cell phone, just their laptop, trapped?
I don't know.
And what's the real test? Is it seeing what you browse while you're in pain?
Yeah, that's right.
Maybe.
you know?
Maybe. I don't know. He made it sound pretty grim.
It sounds like Vault Tech experiments up in here, right? Like, yeah, they're masking the real test with the fake test.
That's the only way you can get real results.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And then he gets out. They put $50,000 in his account. They call him, we put too much money in. You got to give us back. Oh, he sends it back. Suddenly it's overdrawn because it wasn't really in there. Oh, the scam is complete.
Exactly.
Poisoned and scammed out of all of his money.
Yeah.
That's sad.
Yeah.
That's just really...
Now you're broke and you have the T virus. That's right.
Darn those Nigerian princes.
They've gotten real good.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Oh, speaking of, anyone heard of Kit Boga?
Kit Boga?
Yes.
I don't think so.
He is a hilarious Twitch streamer that his backstory is his grandma got scammed bad by one of these scammers, a tech support scammer, I think. So he called up the number they left her to call up, and he pretended he was somebody else and just wasted this rep's time for like 2 hours or whatever, just making the rep miserable. And now he does it like every day or every so many days a week. He has voice changers, he has all these characters, and he just makes these scammers miserable because he knows exactly what they're doing. He sets up a virtual machine so with fake information so that they can't do anything bad to him. He even has a fake website for his bank. So they connect to it. They're remoted into his virtual machine, his machine, right? Mm-hmm. They see him log into this fake website, and it's funny because it's L.R. Jenkins and Associates.
Yes.
And then it says, underneath, there's a blurb on that page that says, earn up to 3.33% in parentheses, repeating, of course, interest.
Yes.
So he gets in there, and he actually has software because he's a software developer by day. He has it set up so that when they do their thing on their end, his interface reflects what they expect to see. And he even has this plug-in to Amazon where he can make purchases, and it shows up that he's bought them on his fake bank, so that when they're trying to do the scam where they say, oh, we're going to cancel this, what is it? It's a refund scam. So it's like a magazine subscription. Mm-hmm. And the old woman or whoever the victim is like, okay. And they're like, you're going to get $400 back for this because you were canceling and you have whatever extra money due owed to you. So they remote in. They have this weird window that pops up that they put on. And they make the person type their name, all this personal information, and then the amount that they're going to be refunded, like their bank account and everything, is what they have to type in. Mm-hmm. Anyway. So then they're like, type in 400, and then the rep that's scamming them hits a 0 because they're remote controlling the computer. Mm-hmm. And so it says, oh, you put 4,000. They deposit 4,000 in with a fake deposit, which will, as soon as the bank tries to clear it, it'll fall off. Mm-hmm. But then the victim sees it and they're like, we paid you way too much. Send us 3,600 back. The victim pays it back, and then the other one falls off, and now they're out $3,600. Mm-hmm. So anyway, Kit Boga gets the $4,000, and then he goes, oh, because he's doing an old woman voice. Mm-hmm. Oh, this is enough to get my mobility scooter. Oh, Susie Durkins across the street is going to be so jealous. And so he goes on Amazon while this rep's watching. The rep's like, no, don't buy anything. Don't buy anything on Amazon. And he buys this $2,000 mobility scooter and gets into an argument. He's like, well, if I have to spend all the money, if that's what you're saying, I should just buy another one. I'll put it out in the front, and then Susie Durkins will see it and say, can I ride yours? You've got two. And I'll say, no. And the rep is like, you are being a thief. You are being a thief. Give us back our money. That is not your money. And it is hilarious. That call was so funny.
It was pretty hilarious. I watched some of it.
Yeah.
I think the beginning, right? On the way here.
Yeah, at the beginning, Mr. Whiskers.
Mr. Whisker.
Yeah,
Oh
it's
my gosh.
yeah, so if you want to watch it, go to Twitch and go to Kit Boga's account and look up it's like old woman. Oh, Edna buys a mobility scooter is what it's called. And there's a part about Mr. Whiskers, the cat at the beginning that is, I'm not going to spoil any of it, but it's gold.
There's another sponsor right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, what? Kit Boga?
Yeah, Kit Boga.
That's going to sponsor our podcast.
Yeah.
Thanks, Kit. You're
You
the
should
man.
get Kit Boga on your podcast.
Hey.
You
Yeah,
won't
we
say what
should.
his real name is, though, so the scammers, because the
Right.
scammers would seek vengeance.
Right, yeah.
Right.
Is there like a society of scammers?
Oh, yeah.
Would
Oh,
they
yeah.
group together?
I don't know if they'd group together, but there's a lot of them out there.
My question is with this whole like I give you money, you give it to me back. Does anyone have $3,500 or whatever the heck it is to give back to them?
Yeah.
I feel like that doesn't work on like poor people.
Well, old people often have more money than they can handle because they have to like use it for
Okay.
a set period of time. I don't know.
All right.
I think they target old people more than
Yeah,
anything.
and because they're more trusting typically.
Mm,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
It's a funny channel though.
Mm.
Me, I
agree.
just won't trust anyone ever, Jordan, so they can't get me.
It's probably for the best.
Yeah. Never trust anybody, anyone.
Hmm.
What?
What?
Except for the TJ podcast.
Yeah, you can
Anything
trust
we tell
us.
you to do on here,
Yeah. Yeah, there you go.
it's
Yes.
guaranteed to make all of your wildest dreams come true.
Right there, you heard it. For 30 days, or your money back.
How much
First
does this
it's-
podcast cost again? 3 easy payments of $99.99.
Something like that, yeah. Yeah.
Comes with free PC parts. Compliments of Faile Industries and the DI.
And the DI. That's right. Compliments of the DI.
Yeah.
Just we're gonna throw them away otherwise.
Man, we've said so many different companies in this podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like product placement. We should be
I
getting
know.
paid.
It's like a giant commercial.
Mm.
We should be getting paid.
So you
Maybe
got-
Jake and Tyler could be our first sponsors.
Yeah.
Hang on, I might have a penny.
Have you enjoyed being on the show? Have you enjoyed it enough to make a financial contribution?
Yeah.
Can we count on your support?
This
I might.
podcast is provided with support from viewers like you. I mean, listeners.
Listeners like you. I
Well,
might
it is a
support.
YouTube video, technically, that we usually post, so...
You could view the
Even though
static
it's a
image.
still image, yeah. Even though it's a still image, it's technically a video. They won't let me upload audio only. They're like, you have to go into some video publishing application and just throw in a still image with your audio for YouTube to accept it. I'm like, all right.
Why don't you put on a real podcast thing?
I could.
Spotify, man.
Most of the ones out there I've looked up cost money to host, though. So there's only like one I found that was actually free.
Hmm.
And it wasn't very good, and I don't think a lot of people use it. I forgot what it was called, but...
Tell you what, my contribution will be worth more than money. I'll go to the local library, open up a bunch of web browsers, open up the video on YouTube, and just click like on all of them. And I'll do that like once a day, and
Yeah.
boom, you know.
Don't you have to sign in to like something?
I think so.
I don't know.
You gotta have a
So
Google
he'll just have
account.
he'll just have to make fake email accounts. We're not doing it, Google. We're not doing it. We're just kidding.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's too much work too.
Yeah, not worth it. I'm sure you have better things to do with your time, like get injected with poison and take,
Yeah,
and take
exactly.
placebos.
That's right.
Yep,
So
sure do.
make some extra cash on the side.
Oh yeah.
There's a guy I knew back in college. He would do he would sell his plasma. They hook you up to
Yeah.
a machine for like an hour or something, and then it just like your blood goes in, and then it centrifuges it and takes your plasma out, and then puts the rest back into you.
Jake did that. You did that a lot.
Yeah, it's almost like you guys know my life story.
Wow.
Like you're mentioning everything I've done. Like, yeah, I worked at a plasma center for 2 years. It's
He
fun.
actually was one of the.
One of the
I,
people
I was
in
the,
the industry.
doing
I was
it,
the
yeah.
phlebotomist. Yeah,
Yeah.
stick you with a needle.
Did you ever sell your own plasma?
Yeah.
Is it worth it?
No. No. I got so sick all
Yeah?
the time.
It is if you're super poor.
Yeah, it is. If you're super poor, you can make some pretty dang good money. And there's some people that like make it their full-time job.
What?
Yeah.
Do people produce enough plasma to live off of
Yeah.
the proceeds
Yeah,
from
because
selling
you
it?
can go twice a week, And they've now doubled the amount because they're doing new research for Alzheimer's that's been successful. So they've doubled how much they pay you. You can make $400 a month.
$400 a month, huh?
So for a college student, boom.
Yeah.
There you
that's-
go.
that's
There's
your-
rent.
Yeah.
Plus a little extra.
Yeah.
So,
And it takes like an hour each time, or what?
yeah. So,
And you
well,
get to watch
depends.
TV while it's happening.
Not anymore.
Really? Why?
They took it away.
Why?
Because the phlebotomists were watching it.
Oh my goodness! the employees were watching it, and so they took it away for the dang patients that have to sit there for an hour.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. They
Just bring your
punished them.
Switch.
Yep.
There you go.
People-
That could be in the
people
commercial.
would.
That could
I'd
be in the
see it.
commercial, like 15 people lined up in chairs, getting their plasma,
That's right.
centrifuged out while they're all playing on Switches.
Yeah.
You have a 16-player Mario Kart game or something, right?
That's right. And then they take that away because the employees are playing.
Yeah,
Because
they're
of
jumping
employees
in
or
on the
something.
races too, right? They're jumping in on the Smash tournament with the clients. Yeah. So you can go twice a week, $400 a month, huh?
Yeah.
Interesting. I looked into it back when I was a student, and they said if you are using an asthma inhaler, then they won't do it.
Nope.
So I use an asthma inhaler.
It's a lot of stuff. Really,
Yeah.
they're really strict.
Yeah.
Like you get a tattoo, you have to wait a year.
And you go out of the country.
You go out of the country, you have to wait.
Yeah, there's some countries you can go to and you're banned for life too. I think China was one of them because it was like if you went during the year of SARS or whatever, you're off. You're perma banned, Jordan, blacklisted for life
It's just
for
not
donating
fair.
blood too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. It's crazy what they'll.
Which countries again?
I can't remember.
Yeah, there's a
I'll just have to
list.
look it up.
There's a list out there that's like if you've ever visited these countries, you can never donate blood.
Then I'll just
or
go
sell
there.
Plasma again. Yeah.
Then it'll be like, oh, there's a blood shortage. Do your part. I'll be like, they won't accept it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, exactly.
It's tainted.
That's right.
You can also just get AIDS and then they won't want your blood.
Well, I don't. I think that cost is too high for the convenience.
Yeah.
Why are you doing this to yourself?
They cured that though. Do you hear that?
What?
They cured 2 cases of AIDS.
What?
They did cure 2 cases of AIDS.
Now we just need to get rid of cancer.
There is a.
I'm not afraid of AIDS myself because I don't think I'll ever get it. I don't live the lifestyle where I'm at risk.
You never know.
Yes.
It's true, but
You might step on a
cancer,
used
though,
needle.
Exactly.
Cancer, I'm far more worried about.
Well, the
Cancer
process
gets like everybody, man.
the process for curing it is terrible for the patient. Horrible,
What do they do? Like drain you of all your blood and then put new blood in?
kind of. Like you have to get a bone marrow transplant
Oh.
for someone who has a genetic mutation that makes them immune to it.
Jeez.
And then they have to destroy your immune system with radiation and then have it be repopulated by all that stuff.
Interesting.
You'll never walk the same, but you'll be AIDS free.
So how much is your bone marrow worth if you
I
have the
don't know.
mutation to be immune? Are you like Wolverine?
Yeah, maybe.
You can get adamantium bones too if you have that mutation? Maybe. What do you think, Jordan?
Sounds like a cure that's a little bit worse than the disease.
Maybe.
I mean, given from what I understand, the retrovirals or antivirals, whatever you call them, the medicines are always devising to help with your AIDS, just to stop the HIV from taking over your body. They're pretty good.
Really?
Yeah. So I think if you live in a country where you have access to those drugs, then you'll probably live a normal life. I mean, other than taking the drugs, right?
Yeah. Interesting. But so if it's a bone marrow transplant, you probably have to get all your bone marrow replaced, right?
Yeah.
Which means it has to be from a donor that's dead that has a mutation, right?
No.
Not
I
necessarily.
don't think that
No.
was, from what I read, it wasn't all of it. I think it was just a segment of one of the bones or whatever.
Well, and I'm sure they have some sort of.
But how much could you get paid, Jordan, if they needed your bone marrow? What if Jeff Bezos got AIDS and he's like, Jordan, I need your bone marrow? You could probably be like, $1 billion, bro. Yeah.
Well, because I think you have to be a match blood-wise, right? Or
Yeah.
something. And then
Yeah.
all other genetic factors, you have to be a match.
Yeah.
So I
So
think in
odds are
both,
really low,
in
yeah.
both these cases, the people had really bad cancer. And I think that the bone marrow was to try and get their immune systems back in the first place. The first
So
one was a
they-
complete
So
accident.
it's accidentally cured.
And the second one, they're like, what if we do that same thing again?
Yeah. Let's try to replicate
And
the
It succeeded. But they've tried since between the
results.
two and failed. So it has succeeded twice and
4%.
failed some number of times, from what I understand.
I think I heard once that bone marrow is worth like $200,000 or something like that.
That's what wolves think when they're sucking it out.
Man, this is good.
Wow.
$200,000 worth for sure.
Yeah. Huh. You regenerate that stuff, right? Like if you were to sell yours.
I believe
Yeah, you do.
so.
I think so.
Magic Johnson's had AIDS for a long time, I think.
And he's fine.
Yeah,
right?
he's doing fine, right? He's not being killed by some disease that's taking advantage of a weakened immune system because of the drugs.
Yeah, that is interesting.
Modern miracles.
Yeah, so you're not cured, right? But your immune system doesn't get destroyed either because the drugs stop the virus.
So
Somehow.
you're like Deadpool, where you're dying, but you're not.
I think so. I don't entirely understand it, but I think it just stops the virus from doing anything, like makes it go dormant. I think that's like the main strategy. So you still have it, right? It's still in there. You're not killing it. You're just stopping it from. Doesn't it like invade your T cells and then explode them, like those wasps planting their eggs and
Something
spiders?
Like that, yeah.
I think that's the way it works. That's why it's so terrible. Is because it actually uses the cells of your immune system to multiply.
Yeah.
That's why it destroys them.
Oh, and that's the mutation is that the T cells don't have the binding point that it needs, so they can actually just fight it.
Oh, there you go.
So
Wait, let's back up. Do wasps really do that?
Yeah, there are wasps that do that.
Holy cow.
what do they do?
They inject eggs into like a spider or tarantula or something. Yeah.
Like Alien in the real world. That's
Yeah,
probably
just
where the idea for Alien
explodes.
came from.
Yeah.
It's just like watching Discovery Channel or reading National Geographic magazines or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
The more you know.
Yeah, nature's messed up, man.
It
Sure
is.
is. Dang.
Watched a bunch of ants eat a crab once. Like the tide had like washed them onto this branch, kind of anyway, and then the ants ate it, and I was just. I normally don't empathize with crabs, you know,
Yeah.
because they're all crab looking. But no one should be eaten by ants.
Yeah.
It's just a horrible way to go.
Yeah.
Are these like regular
Not even
ants?
an anglerfish should be eaten by ants.
We went to the ocean a couple weeks ago, and my kids were just playing in the sand and dug up 2 dead crabs.
All right.
Were there any ants around?
Oh, I'm sure they would have drowned. It was right next to the water.
Maybe they killed it and then got washed away.
I'm pretty sure that's what happened. I think that the ants went into the sea,
Okay.
killed the crab on some massive expedition, dragged its corpse almost all the way back to land to bring it to their, and then got there and they're like, hang on, out of water, this is way too heavy. So they abandoned it. That must be what happened.
Abort mission.
Yeah.
I believe there's like a T virus. It's not a virus. It's an actual. It's a mushroom fungus that affects ants.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And like the ant, I guess the fungus takes over its brain in such a way that it positions itself in the
Like on
perfect
top,
spot
right?
To be eaten by
for
a
the
bird.
spores
yeah.
to
Yeah.
erupt and infect other ants.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
where, what's that video game? Is it
The Last of Us.
The Last of Us? That's what like their zombies were based off of. Was that
Yeah, they're mushroom
because like
zombies.
it like erupts out of the people and it like it's like a big mushroom.
Yeah. So nature, it's messed up.
Dang.
Did you hear about that virus that makes mice like the smell of cat pee?
Yes. Yeah.
And you're not supposed to handle, like pregnant women
Humans
aren't supposed
get
to handle.
infected by it, yeah.
because it can make the baby have like a shrunken head or whatever. So, but there's a study they found where apparently most top performing entrepreneurs have been infected by that. They have record of it when they do whatever test. Like it's part of their system. And so they think that maybe they are more
They're less risk averse.
less risk averse because they have that infection and it's messed up their brain like it does for the mouse, but it doesn't quite do it all the way because we have other systems that prevent us from just loving to go get eaten by cats. Maybe if the cats were bigger, the people would get eaten by them. I don't know.
I'm sure they would.
So you have to find out if that's really the case. You have to see if they really like the smell of cat pee. Because if they do, maybe it's more like that. If they don't, maybe it's just that they're more adventurous and got infected. It's hard to say which one it is.
Maybe. But yeah, it's also known as crazy cat lady syndrome.
Does it actually make people into crazy cat ladies?
I don't know if it makes them into it, but if you're a crazy cat lady, you probably have it.
Oh, yeah.
And then it probably creates kind of like a feedback loop, you know? You love the cats, so you get more cats, and the more cats, you get more infected. So you want more cats. Yeah, I don't know.
That's like those episodes of Hoarders where it's the crazy cat lady. Those are the scary ones. The cat skeletons in their house all over
What?
the place.
You
Yes.
serious?
Yeah,
That
and like
happened.
their freezer is filled with the cats that they like the most because they didn't want to get rid of them, and they still want to pet them.
Real thing.
Yeah.
That is
Real thing.
That is horrific.
Disturbing.
The people go in to try and clean the house out, and they're finding like cat skeletons everywhere. Because
Oh
they'd have
my
like litters of cats, and the lady wouldn't know it in the garage, and then the cats would all starve to death, or something would happen to them. So they're picking up like floorboard planks and having cat skeletons all over the place under them.
Must have smelled nice in there. Yeah.
It smelled faintly of cat. That's when you
Yeah.
walk in.
Dang. That's just
That-
burn the house down.
Yeah.
That's what I would
Yeah.
say. Just
Yeah.
just get her out of there and burn it. I mean,
Just
let,
nuke
you know,
it from orbit. It's the only way to be sure.
exactly.
And at that point, that was the point where Tim and Jordan decided that they would control the topics of the show from that point forward. They regretted having those guests.
Exactly.
It
Talk
was a
about
horrible
anything
mistake.
except for cats.
And hoarding. I'm not even going to mention the Hoarders episode where you know what I'm talking
Oh
about.
yeah, we won't even talk about that.
Yeah. In jugs too. In her fridge, wasn't it?
Oh my goodness.
That's all you all need to know.
I'm probably imagining something worse than what it was, but
I don't
maybe
think
not.
so.
If you're imagining human fecal matter, then you are correct.
Wow.
Anyway.
That's actually not as bad as what I was imagining.
Okay, good. Thank goodness.
Oh yeah.
Don't tell us what you were imagining.
Okay.
Clean your houses, guys. That's like,
Yeah.
lest you become crazy.
If you have mental illness, see a psychiatrist.
Yes.
That's a scary thing about mental illness is half the time you don't know you have it.
Yeah, make sure you have a friend who can tell you if you're crazy or not.
Hmm. Hopefully he or she is less crazy than you, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or crazy in a different way.
Well, they say two people, both deficient in different ways, can rationalize each other. So that might be going on. Just have a friend. Have a friend and stop hoarding that stuff you're hoarding and you'll be fine.
Did
Stop
either,
putting it in the fridge.
did
That's
either of the
right.
hoarders have friends?
No,
Just
they were
old
loners.
lonely ladies?
Yeah,
Just hoard digital Steam games instead
that's right.
of boxes of garbage.
No one will know how much mess we have in our computers.
Yeah.
Collect
Hey.
digital cats. You can have more.
Yeah.
You installed your whole Steam library, right? And all your other games?
No. So like if I like start downloading, it like makes it so that my internet goes down, and then my wife's like, "Hey," she yells from downstairs, "Why is the internet not working as fast?" And I go, just downloading a game." "Can you not do that?" "Oh, okay." So then I press pause. So I do it I do one game a night because I just recently built this computer, guys.
Yeah.
So I do like one game a night.
You can also
And then-
throttle the speed too. Say you can only use half the bandwidth or whatever.
Oh, really?
Yeah, in the settings you can go to the Steam download settings and it'll say cap download speed at whatever.
Oh.
You can just cap it.
Well, his computer is upstairs hooked up with a wireless card.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So is your TV wired to your router?
No, it's wireless too.
Well, your router's right next to the TV.
Yeah.
So
If
you
you
should
wired
just,
it, then yeah, they wouldn't interfere with each other as much.
That's right. Then you could just download all day.
I don't think I can wire my TV.
Really?
Well, it's just a regular 4K TV. I don't know if
They
it has
usually have a port like that.
a
Yours, it's a
port,
smart TV, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
if it has Wi-Fi, it should have Ethernet too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, then. look
I've
what-
got a big old box of Cat 6 or whatever, and so many Terminator ends. I'll just make you a cable.
Okay. Yeah, I'll take it.
All right.
All right.
Should make me a cable too.
Yeah, how long?
80
80 feet. I don't have that much.
No. Probably like 15. Is
All right.
unless that's too much.
No, I can make a 15-foot cable probably.
Right on.
Dang. I just need like a 4-foot one, if that.
Mhm.
There's like 2 feet between the router and my.
I've got a
TV.
50-foot cable you could have. It's in a box because I made all my own cables for the correct length.
If you don't want it, then I'll take it.
It's flat. It's one of those flat.
Yeah. I don't care if it's too long.
All right.
Yeah, I'll take it.
I'll bring it in.
Yeah, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Tyler with the hardware hookups.
Yeah. You'd think that my house would be a horrible hardware hoarder's mess, but it's not.
No, you
Horrible
only,
hardware hoarder's mess.
you only keep the good stuff, right? You gave the $10 phone to me.
Yeah.
That's true. Except that Dell and the other one
Yeah.
and these other ones.
And you gave me a tower that was good enough for what my kids needed.
No, I was talking about the extra towers I have at home that I don't know what to do with. I'm half tempted just to throw them away, but
Yeah, throw them away.
Donate them to the DI. Let someone else find that treasure.
that's where I found them.
Exactly. Return them home.
I'll return them back to their ancestral burial place.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
don't think you need to worry about scarcity. The hardware just comes to you.
Yeah.
So if it's not good, throw it away.
Yeah.
Yeah. True.
Last time I went to the DI, somebody, I think, had scavenged all the RAM out of all the computers they had. Because I
Oh
looked
yeah,
at them.
And
all
they
the
were empty?
employees.
All the
weren't
RAM
looking.
was gone.
They'd open up the cases and pulled the RAM.
Yeah,
out.
I'm pretty sure they
Oh,
just
yeah.
pocketed it and left.
I've seen that.
That's terrible.
I've seen them also kind of rip the heatsink off the CPUs to check and see what they are. Just leave it there with no RAM. So, yeah,
It's a real shame.
what people do.
I went to a Goodwill in Oregon. Or actually, it was in Idaho. I thought, when I went to Goodwill way back in the day, they had all sorts of great stuff. I found Donkey Kong Country 2. I found Mario Kart.
Yeah.
So I go to the Goodwill there, and it was garbage. Like, the DI looks like a really fancy place compared. And I think it's because Goodwill sells stuff online now. They have an auction site. So they take all the good stuff and sell it online.
Oh, that's a shame.
Yep.
Used to be just, if you got lucky, you go in there. And
Well,
find
now
something.
people make a business out of it, so they can't really. They're
Well,
just doing it
Goodwill's for
themselves.
profit, so
Right. Well, that's what people at DI do. You see them sitting around all day, just waiting. The stuff comes out, they snatch it, buy it,
they smack you in the face, trip you. Yeah.
Bear
Sting-
mace.
Yeah,
stab.
exactly. Bear mace.
Yeah. Well, they have Goodwill, or not Goodwill. The DI in American Fork has a signal jammer for cell phones. So you can't
Is that
look
what
at
that
prices.
is?
Yeah, you notice you can't get a signal in there?
Every time I'm in the back of the store, like, how much does this cost? And I get on my phone and it doesn't work.
Because they've got a signal jammer. Because
That
people
is-
are trying to hunt these prices with their phones and just buy them and resell them, just flip them immediately.
It's kind of bad though. That means like if there's a family emergency, your family can't call you because you're buying thrift stuff.
Well, you just got to run out the front doors and then it's like immediately back on.
Right, but like
He's saying if there's an emergency, your phone will not ring.
yes,
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
yeah, that's messed up, Jordan. I don't like it.
Should we pick it?
Maybe we need to jam their jammer. Electronic warfare, Jordan.
Freedom isn't free. Let's do it.
Can you do that?
I
Can
don't
you
know.
jam a jammer?
Probably. You probably just have to send the reverse signal. Destructive interference, maybe. That's probably what they're doing originally anyway, right?
I don't know.
Which means you have to recreate the outside signal and put it in place and over their signal. I don't know how this works.
They might
but
just be broadcasting a bunch of garbage so that there's just too much noise and you can't. Everything else is too subtle for you to pick up.
They
through
could
all the
also
noise.
be broadcasting an official jamming signal that the phones are all programmed to respect
That's
for
true.
each carrier.
Maybe if something like that exists, which it might. I don't know. Or they could have just put a Faraday cage around their warehouse, right?
Suddenly and without notice, no external appearance changes.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't like that though. That's retarded. I guess.
You're gonna have to enter the zone of no cell phone if you want to get these deals, though, Tim.
Yeah, maybe it's worth it.
Just send Tyler in.
Yeah.
He'll come out with treasures.
Or nothing. I come out with
Someone
nothing most of the
must.
time.
How often do you go? Like every week?
I used to go a lot, but these days I'm like, I have so many computers.
Yeah.
I don't need anything from there.
Just like with Steam sales. You used to
Uh-huh.
buy things a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Now that you have a lot, you're more picky. Yeah.
That's right.
How it is.
I think a little bit of your mojo rubbed off on me because when I go to the DI, I don't go very often. I think that's why I think it's only a little bit because when I do go, it's kind of like I get this feeling like I'm driving by the DI and I'm like, oh man, I really need to go there. And if I listen to it, I usually get something really, really good.
How much was your monitor again?
$25.
And it's a, what?
It's a Dell Full HD.
Is it 24 inch or 27?
It's 24 inch and it's like worth like 150 for 25 bucks.
Yeah, and it's not old either. And it's
I got it in the box.
great color. 1080p.
3 months later,
$25.
yeah.
That's good.
3 months later, I swing in, $400 projector, just sitting there, $12.
Have you tested it?
Yeah, works
I
great.
need to go. George.
Yeah, but there's a lot of times I've gone where it's just been garbage
I
picked
don't.
over.
I don't own enough crap, Jordan.
No, you don't.
I'm living too much of a Spartan lifestyle. Apparently,
Yeah, you are.
There's just loads of stuff out there I could be buying.
That's why you had your kidney stone. The real reason,
Yeah,
because you've not been shopping the deals at your local thrift store.
apparently. Yeah.
In case anyone's wondering at this point, the DI is a store, stands for Deseret Industries, where people drop off stuff and they can get a little form for tax benefit,
Yeah.
But
Charitable
they just,
donation.
Yeah, charitable donation. They just drop off junk, and then the people turn around and price it randomly, it seems, and then you could buy it. Unless you drop off a CRT TV. I discovered that if you drop off a CRT TV, they just throw it in the dumpster.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
Is that the tube TV? Is that what that stands for?
Yeah.
Yeah, cathode ray tube. So the thing that I've always wondered is, why do people in Utah say the DI instead of just DI? Because I've noticed that for a long time now. I always just say DI, because it's just like the name of a store, like Walmart.
Maybe because
Target.
you haven't found anything awesome there yet, like a
Maybe.
$25 monitor, a
Maybe
$12
not, yeah.
projector.
Then my,
It's a title. It's a sign of respect.
I guess.
The DI.
Yeah.
Feels natural.
My brother though, he went there and he got Trump the Game for $5.
Ah, nice.
Yeah. Trump the Game, Jordan. And so it's kind of like Monopoly. So it has all this money in there and it's like Trump dollars instead of dollars. So he has a bunch of Trump dollars.
At the end of the game, do you become president?
No, this is way back like in the 80s that they made this game, I think. But yeah, the tagline that's on the cover of the box says, "It's not whether you win or lose, but whether you win." That's Trump philosophy right there, Jordan.
Yeah. You got to think like an abrasive winner to be
Yes.
an abrasive winner.
Exactly. There is no lose, Jordan. No lose. Yeah, he's practically Yoda.
Go up to Yoda. There is no lose, only try. See what he says. That would throw Yoda for a loop.
Sure it would. Easily defeated that one.
So how you guys doing on time?
Probably all right.
It's like 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jake doesn't have a watch. Looks at his arm.
You're not wearing one either, are you?
Still a white guy.
Oh!
Yep,
Yeah, I've got
still a
one.
white
There you
guy
go.
right there.
There you go.
Whew. Yeah.
We were talking about medical stuff. I was going to talk about my nephew. I was telling Jake about it in the car.
Oh yeah, hemophilia.
Yeah, did I tell you guys? I told you about that, right, Jordan?
Yeah, I know about your nephew.
Did I tell you about it, Tim?
Not heard about it.
So he's got this hemophilia where his blood won't clot at all on its own. He's got some protein that his X chromosome is responsible for making that it doesn't. They call it factor 8. You need all the factor proteins to actually have your blood clot. So because of this, because it's on the X chromosome, it's usually only seen in males because you just get the one copy.
Right. Whereas females have redundancy.
Right. So his blood doesn't clot at all on its own. And Jake was saying, he was like, well, that's fine as long as he doesn't get hurt, right? Mm-hmm. But if you just walk around, you do little micro tears in your muscles or whatever, you're going to start internally bleeding. And so you can't heal that on your own. It's like the opposite of Wolverine's powers.
It's crazy.
So he since he's been like 6 or whatever, he's been injecting himself with this factor. His mom had to become a phlebotomist. But I was telling Jake that the real benefit for him is that none of his kids will have it in a way that he'll have to deal with. Because all of his daughters will be carriers, but they'll have it functional X as the other X, so they won't have symptoms. And all of his sons won't have it because they won't get his X. But then all of his grandchildren, his poor daughters, but then he won't worry about that, I guess. Who knows what he's going to do? He's only 10 right now, I think.
Yeah, we'll have it cured by the time he's that old, right?
You think so?
I don't know. We'll be replicating new bone marrow and chromosomes, and I don't know.
Sure.
Sure, maybe.
Yeah.
We'll have conquered aging.
That's right.
We'll all have clones of ourselves that we can transfer our consciousness into.
Though that's another thing about that replicator conversation. So if you could replicate people and you store a pattern in there, would the pattern have any rights? Or would it be that because you go into the replicator and when you're having the pattern made, you've agreed to be in that position, that the thing in the computer, the pattern, has in its mind the state that it has agreed to be there? Does it have any human rights, basically, and are they being violated or are they not? This is for a scenario where if you die, you're replaced by your last backup copy. And does the backup copy deserve any rights separate from you? And would people fight for those rights?
Probably.
I think they'd fight for them. I think that they shouldn't.
If we get that advanced.
Right.
Interesting.
This is changing it so you can replicate living matter now.
Yeah. I would say... but yeah, do rights come from you being born naturally, or do they come because you're sentient, sapient, thinking, feeling, living being?
It'd have to be the latter, because if you died and were printed, then you wouldn't have rights if it was the former.
Right. So, based on that, which I agree with, then that means something like an AI could potentially be similar enough that it would then have rights as well.
And you could just, in theory, take the pattern and make an AI out of it, if we had that sort of technology. Have people live in retirement communities like that movie where everyone gets shrunk, but instead everyone's in a computer?
I never saw that one. What was it called?
I don't remember. I didn't see it either, but the trailer kind of gives away the basic plot premise, at least as far as the setting goes. Like the overpopulation or whatever, you can convert your $1 to like 100,000 or something if you go to this new shrunken community where everything is really small, but it's irreversible. So the main character in the movie and his wife decide to get shrunk, but she has second thoughts, so he gets shrunk, and now he's stuck, and so then she leaves him, and so that's just what the trailer showed. And then he has adventures with giant grasshoppers or sprinklers or something, I don't remember.
Is this live action?
Yeah, you didn't see the trailer for that?
Is it new?
Well, it came out like last year. I haven't seen it, but I wanted to, and then I forgot about it until this conversation.
Never heard of it once.
Really?
Yeah. Sounds cool though.
I'll see if I can get the name.
So the moral of the story is you make your wife do it first. Or whoever is the least committed to the idea has to go first, right? If you both want, if you're both gonna, go together wherever you end up, the person who's least committed has to take the first step.
Okay, it's called Downsizing, and it stars Matt Damon.
Matt Damon.
Wow.
So some woman chooses not to be shrunk with him.
Yeah.
I don't believe it.
Yeah.
Don't believe it. Maybe if he's some regular dude, sure. But Matt Damon, I'm sure the ladies are lining up to be shrunk to live with Matt Damon.
Yes, you'd have to be the better-looking female equivalent of Matt
Yeah.
Damon.
Which I guess she
To be
probably was,
thinking,
yeah.
I could do better than you.
Yeah.
Or
It's
she just
Matt
has to
Damon.
be terrified of the thought of being shrunk to the point where she's no longer thinking
Yeah.
along those lines at all.
So, what was the what's compelling about being shrunken again? Why would people be?
so
It
it's
takes up
like-
less space on the planet.
Yeah, it's this micro community, and they've recreated this whole like city there. But because everything's small, they need very little resources for the food and all this stuff, so it's a lot less expensive to live there. So as you go into it, you convert your currency like these numbers are going to be wrong because I just saw the trailer, but it's like one of your dollars is now like $10,000 in that society.
Oh, so you can be retired
Right.
pretty much as soon as you enter.
Right, and then live the rest of your life with other people because everyone else in the city is shrunk. You just can't get out of there because you can't grow back. I mean, you can, but then you're in a world not tailored to you where you can get eaten by a kitten, you know?
Yeah.
Was it protected? Is this a protected society?
Yeah, it's in some special environment.
It's in a little orb on the cat's
Sounds
collar.
like a prison to me,
No,
Jordan.
it's not that small. The people are about the size of a Lego
kind
figure.
of sound like a prison.
Yeah.
A prison you can't get out of.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to see that movie now.
Hopefully they did a good job with it. Usually I'm not that impressed with movies. I know Jordan isn't either. Even less so than me.
Yeah. The concept doesn't sound amazing. I mean, the perils sound like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids kind of perils, right?
Yep.
Which were entertaining when I was a kid in the 90s.
Just bring back Rick Moranis.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So we should have had instead of Matt
If
Damon.
Rick Moranis is in it, we'll go watch.
Yeah.
Well, I'm also really disillusioned with movies, so I don't know. I'm probably not even going to see the new Spider-Man.
What?
I mean, I probably will eventually see it.
What
but-
if we're going for a team activity?
No, of course, I'll see it
Yeah.
for free.
Homecoming.
Get paid to go see it.
Far From Home.
Oh, Far From Home.
Yeah, Homecoming was the last one.
Yeah, I would definitely get paid to go see that.
Yeah. Yeah, indeed.
But taking my own time, my own money, I don't know. I'll see it when it's on Netflix or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the opposite of disillusioned. I'll go see it no matter what. I'm one of those guys that like it really doesn't matter as long as like it's mildly entertaining. I'm happy. Like it may not be great, but like
Disney
hey,
loves
why not?
you.
Yeah, they do.
Well, I went and saw Ant-Man and the Wasp. I watched it on Netflix the weekend before Endgame came out just to catch me up because that's how I just had no interest.
Wow.
These movies are just, you can only have world-ending peril so many times, universe-ending peril so many times. It's the same. It's like I call it the Dragon Ball Z problem.
Yeah.
Right.
They have to keep escalating or just repeating the same storyline.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
And
just keep going.
now in Spider-Man, oh, what's going on? Oh no, the multiverse is in danger.
Mm-hmm.
We're escalating again.
Well, yeah,
Well, of course.
because it's money.
Right.
We gotta have a reason to go to the theater and buy popcorn. That's $12,
Yeah.
right?
The funny thing though is I would probably be perfectly entertained and maybe even more so just watching Spider-Man be the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Just going around like taking out the trash, speaking societally, taking out the trash, saving people, just doing normal stuff. Like I don't need
And
to
going
see,
to school, right?
Yeah, I don't need to see him like save us from some like godlike being or whatever that crosses dimensions, I'd rather just see him like struggling to be a normal person, struggling to deal with his powers, struggling with the idea that he can't save everybody, or that some things are beyond him, or that no matter what he does, some people are always going to die or suffer. Like things like that, like just regular. Like usually that's a big part of like the origin stories where they're starting to like learn about their powers and what it means to have them. Then they always just like ignore that once they're past the origin story. It's just like, okay, let's throw you at the next big thing. Let's throw you at the next big thing.
Right.
Yeah. And you almost never see any conflict between them and normal people after that. It's always like you who can't be hurt punch that guy who can't be hurt, and you just keep punching each other through buildings, through walls. Nobody's getting hurt. You're just punching each other. That kind of stuff just isn't interesting to watch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
So. Yeah.
Hopefully somebody from Marvel's listening.
Maybe.
And
they're going to sponsor us.
That's
yeah.
right. Brought to you by Marvel.
We're
I
gonna
mean
be-
Disney.
So
It's
what are
gonna
we
be a
going to call our
billion-dollar
movie that they're going to bill us in?
I don't know.
Tim and Jordan's Excellent Adventure.
You could be the next Wolverine, Jordan. Hugh Jackman retired.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, from that role, anyway. Yeah.
Well, speaking of Hugh Jackman, I thought the Greatest Showman was fantastic. Have
Really?
you guys seen that?
I've seen it. I thought it was okay.
It didn't
I'm
pull
not-
me in.
I'm not big on musicals.
Mm.
I'm not big on musicals.
I like musicals. But The Greatest Showman, it didn't suck me in.
What was the one that came out before that from those same directors? La La Land?
I have
I
no
don't
idea.
know.
Well, I had seen that, and by comparison, The Greatest Showman is way better.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd agree.
I like that they had... their issues were dealing with like his integrity and financial state, and not world-ending catastrophe. Maybe I'm just burned out on superhero movies.
Maybe. Yeah.
I think the lesson from that movie was learn how to spend your money. And also don't kiss other girls where your wife can see.
I mean, didn't she just kiss him though?
Oh, yeah.
And his
But-
wife didn't see, though, did she?
She did.
She did.
Oh, she
It was
did?
in
They
the
took
paper.
a picture.
Oh.
She did it on the
Paper.
stage.
Yeah. I mean, he didn't
Rookie
mean to,
mistake.
but,
That's
I
right.
mean,
He should have just done this. He should have
Yeah,
done
he
the
should've.
stop.
face,
Yeah.
hand in front of the mouth.
That's right.
That would have been good.
Got her with his bear mace.
Yeah.
Or taser.
I think that should be your guys' next item to bring on the show is a can of bear mace.
Yeah.
And then
Just
if
make sure
things,
no one's fidgeting with it. Yeah.
If things get out of hand like they clearly have this time, you could just spray the guest with it.
That'd be horrible. Isn't that stuff like lethal within like 5 feet?
It's not lethal, but there's no way you wouldn't get yourself in the room like this. You would get everybody. Like you would get one person really bad and everybody else kind of bad. Yeah.
Let's have a dramatic reenactment style thing with what it would sound like if we sprayed that.
Because it would spread, you know. It's
Everyone needed to start yelling. No one helped me there.
This is your radio program,
Yeah.
Tyler. We
You're
don't
the sound
have your
effect
gift.
guy.
you know,
All you guys had to do was yell.
not even that. You're asking too much. I'm sorry.
All right.
Oh man.
Yeah, you can't spray pepper spray indoors. Just FYI, don't try this at home, kids. No spraying that kind of spray indoors.
This will forever be known as the day that the pepper spray challenge got kicked off.
Yeah, or don't spray outside if the wind is blowing towards you. Don't do that either.
Oh man.
Bad idea.
Do you have experience?
No, I don't.
You just know about
I
the
used
product.
to own pepper spray though,
Mhm.
and I used to carry it. And so I just did some research to make sure I knew how to use it and its effective range and all that stuff. It eventually expired and I never used it, and so I just threw it away.
So let's say somebody's like coming at you and he's gonna fight you or something. Or
Yeah.
do something like hang on, lick your finger, hold it up. Perfect. Pepper spray time.
The only way it's really going to be a problem is if there's significant enough wind that you don't have to do that, you know.
Yeah.
So, because it'll shoot out like a standard small one that like you can carry in your pocket or whatever. Like it'll usually shoot out to like 8 or 10 feet or something. So
Pretty pressurized, right?
yeah,
Like nice little stream.
yeah. If you get the bear ones, the ones that are designed for
An
bears, they'll shoot out to
explosion.
like 30 feet. Yeah, like they'll shoot a stream of foam usually rather than spray. So those ones are good. Those are the kind that are actually better for indoors too. Like some people will actually keep those as home defense. The ones that shoot the gel or the foam, because then they don't spread around and get in the air and diffuse through the room. So, or at least not as much. Maybe they do a little bit, but
Bear mace kind of goes like wide, right?
it can. Yeah,
Like, it's not just a stream,
easier-
it's kinda like a-
easier to hit. Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe. Yeah, but some of them I think are streams of foam, like silly string. You just nail it in the face, get the bear covered all over its face. Yeah, I don't know.
Is that really effective against an angry bear?
Apparently, yeah. Yeah.
I guess they wouldn't make it if it wasn't.
Yeah. Maybe. Never tried it.
How
Hope
do
I
they
never
test
do.
that thing? That's one of the products.
They just trap a bear in a cage and they just spray it with different chemicals and see what happens. Yeah.
You get one of those bear maces on the package. It says not tested on animals. You're like, what?
Yeah. It's like, okay, well, I don't want this then. Yeah. Give me one that is tested on animals that will actually chase away a bear.
There's a little asterisk next to that. You turn to the back. Tested on human beings
Yeah.
for a pain study for $200.
More like it says bears were paid $5,000
That's
for
right.
after a 3-week period of trial.
There's this bear shows up. They're like, you're going to be here for 3 months.
Mm.
Spray the bear with bear mace. Here, take this painkiller. Rate your pain on a scale of 1 to 10. 1 being no pain, 10 being the most pain you've ever felt.
Oh my gosh.
He said 8. It's an 8.
He said 8.
Well, based on the volume of the complaint, the growl.
That's right. You
Yeah.
tuck the bear in, give him his laptop.
Oh man.
Did we jump the shark?
Maybe. Should we wrap this up? You gotta
Yeah.
go, Jordan?
Yeah,
All right.
we should wrap it up.
Okay, well, thanks for joining us once again. Tyler Faile and Jake, I forgot your last name.
Voyles.
Voyles. Jake Voyles. As always, thanks for listening. Sponsor us next time, and we'll catch you at episode 6. Bye, everybody.
Bye.